Welcome to Blacksburg, Virginia, where the number 3 Clemson Tigers travel to Lane Stadium to take on the Virginia Tech Hokies. I'm Tyler Katz, joined alongside Andy Loce for 3304 Sports. A big game for the Clemson Tigers, this likely their final regular season game in what they hope is a tune-up for the ACC championship. However, the Hokies look to play spoiler not only for the Tigers' ACC championship appearance, but a spot in the college football playoff as well. Notre Dame awaits, and Andy, this game is marked by a lot of people as a potential blowout for Clemson. But what does Virginia Tech need to do not only to stay in the game, but potentially get the upset of the Tigers?
Well, the Virginia Tech Hokies are going to have a lot of things that have to go the right way, Tyler, and that really just starts off with having possession. Make sure you're making most of your offensive possessions and really scoring the football because you mentioned it so many times that Clemson has this lethal offense. You have Trevor Lawrence, you have Travis Etienne. Those guys are elite. Those guys will be playing on Sundays going forward. But what's most important for the Hokies is just making sure they're playing their game correctly and trying to keep Trevor Lawrence off the field as much as possible because as much as he's on the sideline, every single snap is going to boost their chances of walking away with the win at home.
Clemson only missing one game so far this season, a game against Florida State that was canceled earlier this year. Their previous game against Pittsburgh, a blowout of the Panthers. The Hokies' last game against the Panthers, they were blown out. Meanwhile, Clemson trying to get back in. They're wearing their signature orange breeches, which they call their championship breeches, and that's when things get serious within the Clemson program. Dabo Swinney in his 11th season as head coach, a full season as head coach for the Clemson Tigers, undefeated against Virginia Tech. Justin Fuente has been the mark of criticism in the Virginia Tech community in recent weeks. So what does this coaching matchup of Fuente versus Swinney mean for both the Tigers and the Hokies?
Well, I think both of them come into this game with goals in their mindset. Coach Swinney is coming into this game, and he has the focus of saying to himself, how do I get back to another ACC championship game? So many years that they've been in the ACC championship, it almost seems ridiculous if they're not in it. They have a chance tonight to get to that ACC championship game with the win, and I'll have a rematch against the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, the team they lost to in early November down in South Bend. For Justin Fuente, though, 0-3, he has had a tough November, and what he needs to do is start December off right. If you're talking about the Virginia Tech community kind of not going with him or really trusting his ways that he's been working, then that's kind of a weird statement to say. Because of COVID-19 this year, there's so many other factors that are being played. He just hasn't had a good stretch. I mean, you lose to Liberty, and then the Miami game was competitive to say the least, but it just was a tough ending of the game. But then Pittsburgh, you mentioned how they lost 47-14. That's a rough outcome. So they're both playing for their own ways. Dabo Swinney playing to get back into another ACC championship game. Coach Fuente trying to rebuild the trust in his team and make sure he doesn't lose four straight going to their in-state rivals Virginia next week.
This Clemson senior class full of a lot of impressive Tigers that have come into Death Valley and dominated. They have a perfect record confirmed at home inside Death Valley. They're now seeking their 50th win as a unit, which would be a record in a 4-year stretch for the Clemson Tigers. Seniors for this team include Amari Rogers, Cornell Powell, as well as a host of others, including Darian Rencher, who was recently awarded the Disney Spirit Award for the most inspirational player of the season. This is a Clemson Tigers class. You mentioned it, that they're going to be playing on Sundays next year and beyond in the NFL. Just a remarkable senior class that came in to Clemson, South Carolina, dominated and continued to dominate all 4 years, including Trevor Lawrence, who is a junior. However, he was honored on senior day for the Tigers. Being a junior after 3 years in college, you can declare for the NFL draft. With such a lot of top-heavy talent in terms of seniority in Clemson, is next season going to be a bit of a change, or does Clemson continue to dominate?
I think Clemson continues to dominate. We've seen time and time again of great coaches in college football who continue to produce great teams. I mean, a lot of people were talking about that after Taj Boyd left. A lot of people were saying that maybe after Deshaun Watson left. And of course, Deshaun Watson's gone on and had a great NFL career, but Clemson continues to be dominant. Better example is the University of Alabama. It seems like a whole decade that they're in the top 5 of college football, and they're always a name that's associated with the college football playoff. I look at this team, though, and I say, yeah, they're going to be in a great position. It comes down to recruiting, and Coach Sweeney really knows how to recruit. Clemson has really adapted into a college football powerhouse. You know, when you think the ACC, you think Clemson University. That's just who they are, and that's who they become. So even though that's all this next year stuff, you know, they got a mission this year. And, of course, they have an opportunity to win today on the road, which potentially looks to be their last final regular season game. I know they're looking at FSU a little bit to see how that goes. And then they got an opportunity of revenging their loss to Notre Dame. And they have an opportunity of saying, let's win a college football playoff. I know last year came short to the other Tigers of LSU. They haven't had a great bounce-back year, but Clemson has. They're in a great position, a prime position to be playing in January for an opportunity for a national championship.
Virginia Tech coming off their only open week of the season. However, it doesn't seem to help in a year that their defense has been plagued by injury and the COVID-19 pandemic. Notable starters who are out for Virginia Tech on defense include Emmanuel Belmar and Deshaun Crawford. But Virginia Tech has been plagued with these missing players on defense throughout the entire season. So without 2 key players on your defense against the number 3 team in the country, does the game plan change at all for Virginia Tech?
Well, I think the game plan has to stick to making sure the offense is able to be a reliable source. This Virginia Tech defense, you mentioned it, hasn't had the best year, almost allowing 461 yards per game in the ACC this season alone. And, of course, it's a turnover from Bud Foster to Justin Hamilton. And it wasn't a smooth start for the defense as well. Of course, Coach Hamilton, way back in September, was out for the first 2 weeks of the season due to contact tracing and COVID-19 related measures. So it's been a rough start. It really hasn't gotten a great traction this season, and the defense has slowly been the ones that people are saying, hey, they really haven't stepped up like they have in the past. Where's that, lunch pail defense everyone's talking about? Well, this isn't the lunch pail defense. This is Coach Hamilton's defense, and right now it's taken a little bit of a while to get going. There's nothing that motivates a defense, though, this game than it would be to say that guy right there, Trevor Lawrence, he's going to be the name that's called around 8:20 p.m. on the Thursday night for the NFL draft. He's a guy that's going to go top 2 and probably not number 2, probably number 1. So that might be a way to say, let's get at him today. Let's try to put pressure on this guy and make sure he goes off and loses at least one regular season game in his college career.
The 36th all-time meeting between these two teams. The last time Virginia Tech won, 2007. The last time they won at Lane Stadium in 2006. A game under the lights from Lane Stadium. It's the Virginia Tech Hokies and the number 3 Clemson Tigers coming up next on 3304 Sports. Welcome to Lane Stadium, where the 8-1 Clemson Tigers and the 4-5 Virginia Tech Hokies battle under the lights in a nearly empty Lane Stadium. Hello, I'm Tyler Katz, joined alongside Andy Loce for this primetime ACC matchup between the Tigers and the Hokies. Andy, this is going to be a great game, especially with the quarterback battle between Trevor Lawrence and Hendon Hooker.
It's going to be a great one for sure. You look at Trevor Lawrence, he's a guy that's been highly talked about ever since he put on a Clemson jersey as a future NFL prospect quarterback. Hendon Hooker has had his difficulties this year with maybe throwing the football, but he's still a wonderful quarterback on the ground. And that's just something to say about his game and style. Both of them kind of bring different ways into the game, but both of them are high tier when it comes to the ACC. So it'll be interesting to watch tonight how those two go against each other.
Virginia Tech coming off their only open week of the season, that coming off a 47-14 loss to the Pittsburgh Panthers. This Clemson team coming off a 52-17 win against those same Pitt Panthers.
Yeah, you mentioned that, and I know, coming over here, Virginia Tech and everything, everyone's like, oh no, what's going to happen next week if we lose the Pitt by that much and Clemson beats them by that much? So, yeah, but those are two different games and, two different kind of attitudes coming into this one. Virginia Tech at home, of course, it's not really the same kind of atmosphere. It's even less than it was started off at. It started off with 1,000, now it's down to 250, nearly empty. We just saw Enter Sandman. It was very quiet here at Lane Stadium, but now it's time to focus on how they're going to be able to take down the Tigers. And for Virginia Tech, this is it. This is your moment to really turn your season around. If it can't change around, with the record-wise, at least change around mentally and do it tonight.
Kickoff is underway. B.T. Potter boots it into the back of the end zone for a touchback. Virginia Tech will set up on their own 25-yard line. Clemson in the orange helmets, white uniforms, and orange pants, a special tradition at Clemson University. The orange pants signify the championship phase of the season where they lock down and win that trophy at the end of the college football playoff. Meanwhile, for Virginia Tech, they're going to go their traditional home uniforms, maroon helmets, maroon jerseys, and white pants. From the 25-yard line, Hendon Hooker will take the snap, and it's an immediate handoff to Khalil Herbert, who's been the star running back for this Virginia Tech team. He'll get a gain of about 3.
That's something that the Virginia Tech Hokies is going to have to do today, Tyler. Keep it on the ground and keep Khalil Herbert moving. He's approaching that 1,000-yard mark on the season, which will be remarkable for him to do in his first season at Virginia Tech. But also the thing is that when you run the football, you give the opportunity for the clock to really go down, giving Trevor Lawrence possibly less time for the Tigers offense to go to work.
Herbert with 805 yards on the season after that little 2-yard gain that will set up 2nd down and 8 from the Hokies' own 27-yard line. Herbert's been the main running back, had a bit of an injury scare against Liberty, but he's back in the full rotation. Hooker back to pass. It's going to be a short pass to James Mitchell, who runs over to the left side, juking out a Clemson Tiger, getting barely to the 1st down marker. It was Tyler Davis on the tackle for the Tigers, and it will be just short of the 1st down marker, 3rd down, about a minute into the 1st quarter.
Yeah, that's going to be really short to that 3rd down. Probably 3rd and inches coming up for James Mitchell. But that's what Tech likes to do, a little bit dump down action and get them the blocks and work it downfield. A big 3rd and 1 already for Virginia Tech. Let's see how they can convert.
And they do actually give them the 1st down marker after further consideration. It will be 1st and 10 Virginia Tech. This Clemson defense is stout, and in his 8th season as the defensive coordinator, Brent Venables has coached in 6 national championships in his time as a coach, trying to get to another one with this Clemson Tigers offense. On the 35-yard line, Hooker's going to take the snap. It's another handoff to Khalil Herbert. Herbert makes a spin move after running into a wall of Tigers, gains around 3 before being taken down by number 24 in Nolan Turner.
Yeah, Khalil Herbert has done his job today, being a little bit patient out in the backfield as we look at his stats. The highest in the FBS with yards per run with an average of 8.2. It's that patience that's a big factor for Khalil Herbert. He knows the holes will come. This is a great offensive line for the Hokies. And if they're able to give Herbert enough holes to have breakout runs, that's where they can find their success and maybe get an opening drive score.
Herbert currently leads the FBS with 1,510 all-purpose yards. Gain of 3 sets up 2nd down and 7 from the 38-yard line. Hooker has 2 receivers to his right. He loses the football, being tackled and taken down by Miles Murphy. Hooker's going to fall on the ball. A bit of a scare for the Virginia Tech offense. Hooker's slightly slow to get up, but it's going to be a big loss for the Hokies regardless.
Yeah, those are mistakes you cannot make against a number 3 team in the nation. It goes into Hendon Hooker's hands. It looks like he had a little difficulty collecting it as he had it, and then all of a sudden he just bobbled it a bit, and now he takes a big blow there from Miles Murphy at the end of it. 3rd and long now, kind of a really bad event after a drive that was actually moving them in a pretty good direction.
It will be a loss of 10 for the Hokies, 3rd down and 20 after the long fumble and recovery by Hooker. So they're back to where they started on the 25. It's going to be a quarterback keeper by Hendon Hooker. Breaks 3 tackles from the Clemson Tigers, eventually being taken down by Joseph Charleston. It will be 4th down and still long after a respectable run by Hendon Hooker.
Yeah, only one throwing attempt on that drive. I don't think they were really looking to see how deep they could go on 3rd and 20. Just keeping the hands of Hooker and see how far it can work downfield. 10-yard run was good, but it was well short that 1st down marker, and now I'm going to get the ball to the Clemson.
Oscar Bradburn will be on to punt it away. Back to receive for the Clemson Tigers is Amari Rogers, the senior out of Knoxville, Tennessee. Ball is placed at the 35-yard line. The snap and the kick by Bradburn. High end over end, calls for a fair catch at around the 28-yard line, surrounded by 4 Hokies. and Clemson will take over, and we'll see Trevor Lawrence and Travis Etienne, the battery for the Tigers, for the first time when we return on 3304 Sports. Welcome back to Lane Stadium. The Clemson Tigers set to take the football for their first offensive drive after shutting down Virginia Tech after a long fumble by Virginia Tech that stayed with the Hokies. But Clemson will set up on their own 30 or 28-yard line. Trevor Lawrence has two receivers off to his left side, and he will indeed target his receiver. That's going to be Amari Rogers, breaking a couple of tackles and gaining around 6 to 7 yards on the play on a pass to the left side of the field.
The Hokies defense, Tyler, has not seen a quarterback this season at the same caliber as Trevor Lawrence. Let's see how Lawrence really does today against the defensive of the Hokies.
It was a good first play for Trevor Lawrence and company. It will be 2nd down and 5 at the 32-yard line. Lawrence has 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right, and a running back right behind. Receiver in motion. It's going to be a handoff now to Travis Etienne. Etienne's going to gain around 5.5, but it will be enough for the first down with a 10:40 remaining in a scoreless game.
Well, Travis Etienne has submitted himself into the ACC record books. If you look over 4 games ago against Boston College, where they were able to break the career rushing record over Tim Brown.
It will be 1st and 10 for the Hokies on the 38-yard line. Lawrence has 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. He's looking over the middle, a wide open receiver. He's got his man in Max May, and May gonna be tumbling and bumbling down to the 12-yard line. A huge play for the Clemson Tigers.
Well, that's big right there, wide open in the middle of the field. I believe it's Galloway who makes the catch and the run for the Tigers. And it's just a simple play that starts off with a pocket. It's kind of collapsing, but Galloway well open and a ton of yards after the catch.
Braden Galloway with the catch. A run by Travis Etienne. He gets stuffed by Virginia Tech and Gerard Hewitt. 2nd down for the Tigers.
A good job for the Hokies to really bounce back on that and make sure they don't allow another big play after that huge 49-yard catch and run by Galloway.
Etienne, his 2nd rush of the day, has been a star running back for the Clemson Tigers, only gaining 1 on that previous play. It will be 2nd down and 9 minutes and 20 in the first. It will be 1st and 10 on the 2nd and 9 on the 12-yard line, 2 receivers to both sides for Trevor Lawrence. He's back to pass over the middle, looking end zone. It's going to be swatted away by Virginia Tech. Amari Chapman knocking it away. It will be 3rd down for the Tigers, and the first time they've had to face 3rd down today.
Yeah, you target Powell on this play, and it looked like that Powell was going to get off the slant, but for some reason he slows up right there, and it was on the side where Chapman was covering. It could be a major blow for Clemson early in this game.
So 3rd down and 9. We'll see if Clemson targets the end zone like they did on their last play on 2nd down. Lawrence is going to have 2 running backs behind him, 2 receivers to his right, 1 to his left. Running back out on a wheel route, and he's got Etienne. Etienne immediately gets stopped at the line of scrimmage. On the tackle was Trenton Simpson for Virginia Tech. No, that's Jamari Connor.
Jamari Connor making a big stop. Etienne is an explosive running back, and when he catches that on the check down, he had 2 blockers in front of him. But Connor gets right past the receiver of Rogers of Clemson and makes a big tackle line of scrimmage. A huge play allowed by the Hokies, but the red zone defense stepped up, Tyler.
So B.T. Potter on to kick the field goal. He's 15 for 20 so far this season, only missing 1 inside of 30 yards. This is a 28-yard attempt. 4th down and 8. Kick by Potter is straight through the middle. Clemson strikes first. It's 3-0 with 8:27 remaining. Virginia Tech will get the ball when we come back on 3304 Sports. Welcome back to Lane Stadium. The Clemson Tigers just struck first off a B.T. Potter 28-yard field goal to take the lead 3-0. Potter puts the ball in the tee, about to kick it away. Back to Virginia Tech, around 8 minutes and a half remaining in the opening period of play. Potter puts it on the tee, deep to receive for Virginia Tech is going to be Khalil Herbert, the kickoff returner. Has a long of 83 yards on the season. We'll see what he can do against the Clemson Tigers. Potter's kick goes high into the end zone. No chance for a return by Khalil Herbert, and Virginia Tech will set up on the 25-yard line.
So, Tyler, after giving up only a field goal from the defense, that has to motivate and Virginia Tech offense now. Knows that the defense made a mistake and they were able to bounce back on top of it. So now the offense realized we made a mistake last drive with that fumble with Hendon Hooker. Hopefully they can get back on the field and make an impact.
Will be first down and 10, 8:27 on the clock. Hooker's going to have two receivers to the right, one to the left. Excuse me, that's Braxton Burmeister. He's found James Mitchell. We have not seen Burmeister throw a pass since week 2 against Duke for Virginia Tech.
Yeah, Burmeister coming to this game, who's actually the starting quarterback for the Virginia Tech Hokies this season. Tyler played against NC State. We got to see a little bit of Burmeister and Patterson. Of course, the news broke earlier this week that Quincy Patterson was going to be entering the transfer portal, so it looks like it'll be Burmeister and Hooker going the rest of the way for the Hokies.
Hooker still in full pads and a helmet on the sideline. Will be second down and 13 after Burmeister's pass was completed. Around just under 8 minutes to play in the first quarter. Burmeister going to remain under center for Virginia Tech, the transfer from Oregon, on the 22-yard line. Two receivers to the left, one to the right, targeting over to the left side. That's going to be number 85 for Virginia Tech, in payout.
Yeah, Hodges was at Villanova. He led the Wildcats in receptions, yards, and touchdowns back in 2019. He hasn't seen that much action ever since he's gone down to Blacksburg, Tyler, but good to see him get a big play right there. And now after second and 13, it becomes 3rd and 5, which is easily manageable for this Hokies offense.
Well, gaining 8 yards on the completion to Hodge. Haven't seen too many touches from Hodge this season, as you mentioned, but it will be 3rd down and 5. Burmeister again staying on this drive. You have to wonder if they're going to alternate drives. Hooker's getting the starting nod. Second drive in the hands of Braxton Burmeister. 2 seconds on the play clock. Burmeister takes the snap. Burmeister's going to take it himself. The Clemson Tigers weren't expecting it, and he's going to gain 5 yards and the first down. On the tackle is going to be number 10 and Balin Spector, the graduate student.
Some people may forget that Burmeister is a dual-threat quarterback. We see him do it with his arm twice, but this time he does it with his feet. He's able to find that hole and get right to that 36-yard line. And now Virginia Tech got a first down, their own 36. They're comfortable once again. Let's see if they can make a drive out of it, Tyler.
Burmeister completing just under 50% of his passes coming into today's game against the Clemson Tigers. And you see Brent Venables on the sideline starting to get worked up, now knowing what Virginia Tech is capable of with two quarterbacks that have starting potential. Burmeister under center at the 36-yard line. Two receivers to the left, one to the right. It's going to be a pitch to Khalil Herbert. Herbert's going to gain absolutely nothing as Balin Spector is there again for the tackle, stuffed at the line of scrimmage with 6 minutes remaining at 2nd and 10.
Yeah, didn't really see that much of a hole right there, but that was the Clemson pressure. They sent a lot of men into that pocket, and when Khalil Herbert is a fast guy, but we mentioned his patience and what he was able to do, just didn't really see to find anything that he was going to get to. He did pick up 1 yard on that run, though, there, Tyler, so at least some positive yards for Herbert, but that was a great job from the pressure of Clemson.
Spector is the main person for this the Clemson defense, the leading tackler on the team. They'll line up at the 37-yard line for Virginia Tech. Burmeister's going to complete his pass to Raheem Blackshear, the running back. Blackshear breaks a couple of tackles. He's going to be tackled over the first down marker. First down for Virginia Tech. That was Joseph Charleston on the tackle for the Tigers.
Yeah, good screenplay right here. Got a ton of blockers. We see James Mitchell being one of those blockers for Blackshear, but coming from Rutgers, this guy was talked about as he is a speedy guy and he can do both. He's listed as a running back, but we've seen him more in the receiving end this year for the Hokies. And right now, Burmeister coming in, understand the playbook, 3 for 3 in this drive so far alone, and now Virginia Tech has another first down, and better yet, they're working into opponent's territory, Tyler.
They are getting closer to Clemson territory, just under 5 to play. They're at the 48-yard line of Virginia Tech. Burmeister's going to take the snap, rolling to his left, looking back to pass. He was under pressure. He's got a wide open man heading to the 15, 10. Robinson close to the end zone. Tavion Robinson, a big play and a huge opportunity for Virginia Tech in the first quarter.
Man, this is some broken coverage right here from Clemson. I mean, you look at Tavion Robinson, he's able to work, and the QB spy forgets that Tavion Robinson goes right behind him on that play. That was Balin Spector, who didn't notice Robinson was working the backfield. But Robinson, he returns punts, and he's able to work it downfield inside the 5, and the Hokies are in business.
Spector usually working the line, not typically in that cornerback role, and just gets burned by Tavion Robinson, setting up first and goal, just under 4 remaining in the opening period. 3-0 Tigers. Virginia Tech trying to answer. On the 4, it's going to be a handoff to Herbert. Herbert finds a hole. Touchdown, Virginia Tech. They take the lead over the Clemson Tigers.
That's just a great offensive play to Robinson. You mentioned that 48-yard connection that sets up that first and goal. And what an easy run here from Herbert. Untouched as he gets into the end zone. You mentioned Christian Darrisaw blocking the way as James Mitchell finds that easy hole. And one of the best running backs in the nation finds 6. And the Hokies are up against the Clemson Tigers.
Herbert's going to get his 7th touchdown on the ground this season. On to kick the extra point is Brian Johnson, and it's right down the middle. And after 2 drives for Virginia Tech, they have a 7-3 lead over the Tigers. But Trevor Lawrence is going to try to answer when we return to Lane Stadium on 3304 Sports. Welcome back to Lane Stadium. Virginia Tech just taking the lead over the number 3 team in the country. It's 7-3. A fair catch for the Clemson Tigers on a kickoff inside the 25 means the ball comes out to the 25-yard line. So Trevor Lawrence and company will take over for their second drive of the game on their own 25.
Yeah, so now Clemson has just noticed that Virginia Tech goes down the field and gets a good score. A touchdown with a Khalil Herbert run as it was set up at the 48-yard catch and run between Burmeister and Robinson. But now this Clemson offense is the one that everyone's been talking about. So seeing Virginia Tech coming out and get a good drive, Clemson tries to match their offer.
So Lawrence is going to have a few receivers scrambling. He's got 3 to his right, 1 to his left, and a running back directly behind. Lawrence checking on ETN behind, and indeed it is a handoff to ETN. ETN is going to gain around 5 yards to the 30-yard line and will bring up second down. Balin Spector and the Clemson defense, after letting up a touchdown, talking to Brent Venables on the sideline after giving up 7 points on only the second drive of the game for Virginia Tech. In a winding down first quarter, Trevor Lawrence has it at second down and 5. 3:20 to play. Lawrence looking to the right side through the air. He's got his man wide open, number 17 for the Clemson Tigers, hauling it in. That's Cornell Powell, the ACC Receiver of the Week last week against Pittsburgh, making the catch for the first.
Yeah, Cornell Powell's coming off a monster week against the Pittsburgh Panthers. We talked about how he had 6 catches for his career high 176 yards, giving him those honors, and he deserved them, and now it's gotten back in business, his first catch of the game.
First down and 10 for Lawrence. He's going to look back to pass. Receivers going deep for Clemson. Lawrence throwing deep. This one's broken up, thrown into triple coverage. Pass was intended for Cornell Powell. In on the stoppage, just two of the few names was Divine Diablo and Devin Taylor in on the pass breakup for Virginia Tech.
Yeah, Powell was going in deep, but fortunately for the Hokies, the safeties responded well with that. You saw Devin Taylor back there. You also saw Murray and Devon Diablo, triple coverage right there, and a series of events that I cannot believe happens. A sprinkler is going off here in Lane Stadium. Actually, multiple sprinklers are going off in Lane Stadium. They're going to shut those down immediately, and let me tell you, it's going to stop the game a bit, you know. Virginia Tech responded to that well. They're out there, they're hyping everything, getting a little
Dax
bit of water.
Hollifield running through the sprinklers like he's a little kid in the middle of summer.
Yeah, and he doesn't know he's on primetime football here against the number 3 team in the nation. You love to see the guys out there who are, you know, playing football but also enjoying it as well. And that's going to do a little bit right there after a big-time play. Maybe it gives Clemson another breather or two and gives the Virginia Tech defense maybe recoup a bit.
So after that odd series of events, it's going to be second and 10 with 2:42 remaining. Lawrence is going to have 3 receivers to his left, but it's going to be a pitched play to Travis Etienne. Etienne turns on the speed, sprinting for a first down, gains around 14 yards. First down, Clemson.
That's a big pitch play right there for Travis Etienne. He hasn't really had a great run yet on the night, Tyler, but that's the first one right there. A left pitch and the block's coming away, and he's just quicker than everyone else. You just notice how he's able to speed past the defenders and get that first down.
First and 10. Trevor Lawrence has 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Lawrence looking to the right side. That one was tipped, intended for Amari Rogers. Chamari Connor came in trying to get the tip play for an interception, but it hits the ground, an incompletion for Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, was not able to be in the right place at the right time, but that play was looking like it could go Clemson's way. There were a ton of blocks out there as well. That's a play that Virginia Tech has also ran a lot this year. You know, it's that bubble screen play where you get the receiver at the line of scrimmage and just work it down the middle of the field, but couldn't connect there.
Well, after 2 incompletions, it will be 3rd and 10. Trevor Lawrence, a short screen play and a gain of around 8 yards for the tight end for the Clemson Tigers. Won't be enough to gain the first down. It's now 3rd down for the Clemson Tigers, On the catch, number 84, the tight end, and Davis Allen.
There's Allen getting involved in that as well. 3rd and short coming up on this play right here. First 3rd and short the Clemson Tigers have really had to go for tonight. Let's see how they're able to utilize maybe ETN on this play.
Well, 3rd and 1, ETN is behind Trevor Lawrence, slightly to the right. And indeed, they will give it to ETN. He got stuffed at the line, but his power was too much for the Virginia Tech defensive line. It will be 1st down, Clemson.
Yeah, strong second effort from the senior running back. And now another 1st down. Moves the chains again. That was an opportunity for Virginia Tech to really stop the momentum, but now they're going to have to do it here on the new set of downs.
The grounds crew of Virginia Tech still trying to figure out what went wrong with that sprinkler system. ETN's going to sling it to the left side. Got Amari Rogers, a very nice side-armed pass by Trevor Lawrence to get into the red zone.
Yeah, it was Trevor Lawrence working out there to the left side and throws it across the body to the right. Not an easy throw from a quarterback, but to a reliable receiver in Amari Rogers. And Clemson's in the red zone again.
Under a minute to play, 7-3, Virginia Tech leads. It will be a handoff to ETN. ETN gets stopped almost immediately. Primary tackler for Virginia Tech was number 9, and Justice Reed, the graduate transfer.
So Clemson took a big play to get into the red zone last drive, and they weren't able to score with that Hokies defense. The Hokies defense now has another opportunity, making a big red zone stop. It's 2nd and 9 now. Looks like maybe the end of the quarter will maybe come first, but right now it's going to be maybe one last play for Clemson before the end of the quarter.
10th play of the drive coming up. Clemson has all 3 receivers to the right side, nobody to the left. Trevor Lawrence is going to take it himself to that left side. Touchdown, Clemson! Trevor Lawrence with the quarterback keeper, and the Tigers reclaim the lead.
Trevor Lawrence is not known for running the football, but when he does, Tyler, he is able to get out in open space. A perfect play call. All 10 of Virginia Tech's defenders went to the right. There was only one to the left, but solid blocking from the Tigers. A walk-in touchdown, to say the least, for Lawrence. And now Clemson back on top over the Hokies.
It's a 17-yard touchdown run for Trevor Lawrence, his 5th touchdown on the ground this season for the Tigers. B.T. Potter steps up to put the extra point away. It is straight down the middle. 10-7, the Clemson Tigers regain the lead with 12 seconds remaining. The Virginia Tech Hokies will get the ball back and try to answer Clemson's touchdown when we return on 3304 Sports. Welcome back to Lane Stadium. Clemson just getting on the scoreboard by way of the end zone and the touchdown for the first time today. 10-7 with 12 seconds left. B.T. Potter puts the ball on the tee, ready to kick it away again to Khalil Herbert, who's awaiting the kickoff in the end zone. Potter's kick heading to the slight left side. Herbert not going to have a chance to return it. It goes through the back of the end zone for an automatic touchback. Virginia Tech will set up on the 25-yard line, and we'll see who comes in at quarterback. Hendon Hooker started that first drive. Braxton Burmeister coming in for the second.
Yeah, well, Braxton Burmeister led that touchdown drive. It's hard to take him out of the game after a successful drive with 4-4 passing, but, you know, that's the thing that you don't want Clemson to figure out, which quarterback you're sticking with.
And it looks like it will be Braxton Burmeister staying in the game. It will be a handoff to Khalil Herbert. Herbert finds a small hole before being tripped up by Balin Spector. Will bring up 2nd down as the clock will wind down here in the first quarter. A successful first quarter for Virginia Tech, holding the Clemson Tigers to 10 points. They've gained 7. The Tigers lead by 3, and we'll come back for the remainder of this Virginia Tech drive when we come back on 3304 Sports. Welcome back to Lane Stadium. Tyler Katz joined alongside Andy Loce for 3304 Sports. Burmeister back to pass as soon as we get started in the second quarter. It'll be a completed pass for a first down. Not giving me enough time to catch my breath before hopping into play again. as Virginia Tech gains the first down with Burmeister under center.
Yeah, so quick play right there. Burmeister stays in this drive to start off the second quarter. A nice dump down pass to Mitchell. We've seen that earlier today. He already has 3 catches, surprisingly. That's his biggest gain right there. And he gives the Hokies a first down. You know, like seeing how Virginia Tech started off these drives, though. And it's legit because so many times you go against a team like this and you think to yourself, you're going to build up opportunities throughout the game, but you're afraid of, having these short drives. They've had 3 drives already, and all 3 of them have started off with first downs, and that's a good start right there as Clemson Tigers slow to get up.
Yeah, that's going to be Tyler Davis, the true sophomore for the Clemson Tigers, being injured on the field. But so far, an unexpected result for Virginia Tech. Braxton Burmeister coming in and almost stealing the show for the Hokies, coming in the game on his first drive and scoring a touchdown in what I believe caught the Clemson Tigers off guard, not expecting the Burmeister game plan.
Yeah, you kind of prepare for it. Hooker's been the guy for the Hokies ever since he came in against North Carolina back on October 10th. We've seen him a lot. He's done a lot. And so Clemson kind of comes in this game and they think, okay, well, Hooker's been the guy throughout November and majority of October. We'll be seeing him the most come Saturday. Virginia Tech did have that extra week, though. You mentioned the open date that they had last week and a little bit extended Thanksgiving for the players after playing nearly 2 months of football. The Hokies at this point, sitting at 4-5, they might say to themselves, we may not have nothing to lose. We're going against number 3 team in the nation, the Clemson Tigers, a team that's looking to get back into the college football playoff. But now the Hokies have a guy who says, well, Burmeister really hasn't been getting going lately. And, he might be a quarterback we want to, pursue at later in the future, so give him an opportunity to go against an elite football program at Clemson.
Burmeister and Hooker, both the same situation. They're both redshirt juniors. Burmeister, a transfer from Oregon. We mentioned earlier he starts the first 3 games of the season for Virginia Tech against NC State, Duke, and North Carolina, playing those 3 of the 4 teams that they played this year from the state of North Carolina. But it's been the Hendon Hooker show ever since, and it's almost reminiscent of the 2019 season for Virginia Tech, where it seemed to have been the Ryan Willis show until Hendon Hooker took over.
Yeah, it's been a kind of a rotating door of quarterbacks here. So Hooker has been pretty much Virginia Tech's quarterback, I would say, for the last 2 seasons, based on what he's able to do with his success. But right now, if Braxton Burmeister is coming out here and he's playing this well, 5 of 5 passing for 72 yards. As long as, of course, a 48-yarder to Tavion Robinson. He has a run for 5 yards as well. He's come in here and he's done a pretty good job. So 75 total yards for the guy who has only played about 3 games this year, like we mentioned. So coming in against Clemson will be quite a nerve-wracking experience for him. But he's been doing well so far, and he's been able to move the ball for the Hokies, which is something you need to do. If you keep on moving the football, Tyler, good things are going to happen, and we saw that in that previous drive from the Hokies.
Meanwhile, the Clemson Tigers and Brent Venables trying to make stops, as this is not necessarily a I would say it is a must-win game for the Clemson Tigers. You win, you clinch a spot in the ACC championship against Notre Dame. You win, you virtually lock yourself in to a college football playoff appearance with a win in the ACC championship. A loss here to this 4-5 Virginia Tech team almost brings that all crashing down for the defending ACC champions and national runner-ups.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I'm going to say with the must-win situation, I think when you are in a spot for the playoff, every game is must-win. And if Clemson were to slip up here, Tyler, which there's still a lot of football left. We're not writing off Clemson already. But we're just saying if they have a slip-up here or there in this game that results in a loss, you can say that the season's over.
They already have 1 loss. It was a double overtime loss to Notre Dame in South Bend, Indiana, 47-40. Getting off the field okay was Tyler Davis, the injured Tiger, just before we went to break. It will be first down and 10 for Virginia Tech. Braxton Burmeister going to stay on the field as the field general for the Virginia Tech Hokies. 3 receivers to the left side, 1 to the right, and Khalil Herbert is going to get the handoff off to the left side. Gain of 5, breaks a tackle on a stiff arm, fighting and ramming into a Clemson Tiger. It was Herbert gaining the first down, just seemed to almost shove Nolan Turner out of the way.
Great run there from Herbert, works it from the left side over to the right and cuts back over to the left again. So this is a guy that has done a really good job for the Hokies this season. He's been on the ground, aggressive run. Love to see him put down the shoulder on Nolan Turner and get him enough for the first down.
Herbert so far 6 rushes for 26 yards. A touchdown already to Herbert's name, a 4-yard rush on the second drive for the Hokies, this one being their third. 13:30 remaining in the second, 10-7 Clemson leads. 2 receivers to the right side, and indeed they will go to the right. Finding a receiver, it's going to be Hodge again, his second catch of the day. Second down for Virginia Tech, a gain of around 4 or 5.
That's a good first down play right there, Tyler. They went off to the man-to-man coverage. Hodge able to make a good move and get to the ball and, work for another yard or 2 on that play. It's very comfortable. They're not going too aggressive, which I like that kind of style so far from the Hokies, and it's been good enough, and now they've moved into opponent's territory once again, Tyler.
It'll be second down and 5, just under 13 remaining. Burmeister going to slow the game down, go into a huddle, a break from the hurry-up offense that we've seen from both sides of the football. They'll line up at the Clemson 28. Burmeister going to take it himself to the right side, gaining 3-4 yards. That will be a third down and short regardless for Virginia Tech.
Yeah, Miles Murphy coming behind Burmeister, who ran up to the right. Murray came from the left all the way back around and hit him from behind. He was able to maybe get an extra yard or 2 after that hit, but that's a big blow. Third and short now for Virginia Tech. These are the kind of plays that really define how the team's been doing. If you can get a big first down conversion here, that's going to be a great job at really keeping this drive going and keeping that time possession up.
Will be third down and 1 after the Burmeister quarterback keeper. 12 minutes to play here in the second quarter. Burmeister going to hand it off to Khalil Herbert. Herbert finds a small hole on the left side, but it's enough to gain 4 yards and a first down for Virginia Tech.
Yeah, solid play right there for Virginia Tech. We need this first down. Who are we going to give it to? Our most reliable player. Khalil Herbert doing a great job. The patience once again, looks up the middle, doesn't like what he sees, hops out to the left, picks about 3 or 4. First down, Virginia Tech.
Virginia Tech has done a great job on the offensive side of the ball and able to almost counteract what Clemson has been known to do on defense so far this season.
Yeah, and that's been keeping the ball on the field. I mean, Clemson knows how to get the team off the field and get Trevor Lawrence in the game. They haven't been able to do so far in this game.
2 receivers in motion from right to left. Burmeister going to hand it off to Khalil Herbert. Herbert trying to juke out a few players from Clemson. Juked out about 3, but ended up being caught by 3 Tigers. It will be second down and long. After a 3-yard gain, it will be second and 7 with 11 minutes to go. Tech finds themselves down 3.
Been some good blocking from Virginia Tech, able to give them some opportunities, but the time of possession has been the best part so far, Tyler. They've only ran 3 more plays than the Clemson Tigers, but they almost have double the amount of time of possession. That's exactly the game plan that the Virginia Tech Hokies wanted to do coming into this one, and this is another drive that's reaching 4:30, and if they keep on going in this drive, keeps Trevor Lawrence off on that field.
Second down and 7. Burmeister, a pitch to Khalil Herbert. Herbert finds a hole and a first down to the 25, makes a cut to the 20, and they're going to mark him out of bounds at the Clemson 25. If he did not step out of bounds, he almost looked gone into that end zone.
And that was a great drive there from Herbert. Another one of these pitch plays, and there's the tight ends. James Mitchell and Nick Gallo doing their job, blocking downfield. Tavion Robinson coming in and doing some blocking as well. And Herbert was trying to tightrope down that sideline. He took a step out of bounds, but another first down for Virginia Tech.
10 minutes to go in the second quarter. First down and 10. The Hokies trying to regain the lead on the last year's national runner-ups. It's a handoff to Khalil Herbert. Herbert could not find a hole, ended up backpedaling and gets knocked down for a loss. Just a bad look for Herbert. Will be second down and long after a tackle for a loss by the Clemson Tigers. Taking a look at that play again, Burmeister a handoff and just a wall of Tigers. Tried to make a cut, ends up running into the back of Kane Patterson, number 17 for the Tigers, and being knocked backwards. It's a loss of 3, second and 13. 9 minutes, 30 seconds to go for Virginia Tech, trying to get another score to at least tie the ball game. They find themselves down by 3 at the 28. Burmeister looking, couldn't find anyone. He'll take it himself, a gain of 4 yards. So they will get a 3rd down and 9 look. But there is a flag on the play. We haven't seen a flag for either side so far.
Yeah, this one's going to be a big one. It looks like it could be on Balin Spector. Burmeister did put that head down, and he did try to go forward. As you watch the replay here, there might be some leaning in the crown of the helmet.
And it is a personal foul against the offense. It will remain 3rd down, but it's a penalty against the Virginia Tech Hokies. Taking a look at that play, it did almost look like it could have been a targeting call on Balin Spector, but that's not what the referee saw. Instead, it was a personal foul after the play.
So, yeah, we were looking at his analysis of, oh, yeah, I wonder if it's going to be a head-to-head contact. No, it was actually Brock Hoffman jumping on the play when it was already over. That's just a mistake right there from Hoffman that moves him out of field goal range.
It will set up the Hokies at 3rd and 24 on the 39-yard line. It's going to be a handoff to Khalil Herbert, who is swallowed up in the backfield. Excuse me, that was Jalen Holston on the carry for Virginia Tech, setting up a 4th down and long and out of field goal range.
Yeah, Hoffman's been a reliable player for the Hokies this season, but that's just a big mental mistake, jumping on the pile. Obviously, Coach Fuente not happy about that, as that was an opportunity for Virginia Tech to knot this score up at 10. So now they're going to have to go to the punting team with Bradburn. A good drive from the Hokies that will have a disappointing result with no points.
And it's the Coastal Carolina transfer in Brock Hoffman that ruins the chance for Virginia Tech to gain any points. Instead, it will be Brock Hoffman, the Australian punter, on to kick it away to Amari Rogers. It's a high punt, doesn't go too far. It goes over Rogers' head into the end zone. Virginia Tech tried to pin them at the 1, but just a little too much power, a little too much spin going into the end zone. So Virginia Tech fails to come up with any points, but Trevor Lawrence and the Clemson Tigers try to add on to their lead when we return on 3304 Sports. Welcome back to Lane Stadium. Already one play in the books for the Clemson Tigers just before we got back. It was a high snap from Trevor Lawrence and a pass over the middle for the Tigers. As they look to take a bigger lead, it was almost intercepted by Virginia Tech, but it fell incomplete. It'll be 2nd and 10 at the 20. A run by Travis Etienne for 4 yards. It will bring up 3rd down and 6, and I believe this is the longest 3rd down in distance that the Tigers have faced all day.
Yeah, it really is. And looking back on that 1st and 10 there, Tyler, there's a poor throw from Trevor Lawrence over to Amari Chapman. I mean, that could have been a game changer there itself, just couldn't be able to handle the ball. But 3rd and 6 coming up, they can force a quick 3 and out on the Tigers and get the possession right back.
So it is 3rd and 6 from the 24-yard line. Lawrence is going to have 2 receivers to both sides. He's going to look to his left, but he's going to decide to take it himself. No, it stands right before the line of scrimmage, firing an incomplete pass intended for number 88 in Braden Galloway. So that will bring up 4th down and a 3 and out for the Clemson Tigers.
Yeah, quick 3 and out right there, and Lawrence is throwing to Galloway, but Galloway was already out of bounds on that play, so even a catch would have resulted in a penalty. So for Clemson, 3 and out. I mean, that's a remarkable stand right there for the Virginia Tech Hokies after having a disappointing offensive drive that ended with 0 points. And they're going to be in a good field position here if they're able to get a good punt return.
First punt from the Tigers and number 48 and Will Spires. Spires' punt nearly blocked. They had a blocked punt last week, but instead it will be a return to the 50-yard line by James Mitchell, his first punt return of the season, and it goes to midfield.
Yeah, so Hokies going to be having a great field position to start off their drive.
Both teams heading back to the sideline, pumped up about what happened. It will be 1st and 10 for the Virginia Tech Hokies at midfield when we return. Welcome back to Lane Stadium. The Clemson Tigers just punting the ball away. To the 50-yard line went the return. It will be Burmeister remaining on the field. Passes complete to Raheem Blackshear. Blackshear evades a Tiger. A 9-yard gain. It will be 2nd down and 1, and Blackshear showing off his speed.
Yeah, great run there by Blackshear, sticking to those screen plays again for the Virginia Tech Hokies. they've been working so far against the Clemson Tigers defense. They're getting good blocks downfield, and they're giving their players opportunities to run in the field. So here we go, 2nd and 1 coming up for Virginia Tech. They've already started in opponent's territory, or they started midfield, but they're great field possession. They are looking at this opportunity of retaking the lead over the Tigers.
It was a great run by Raheem Blackshear, and Braxton Burmeister, remaining in the game, has done a great job under center for Virginia Tech. After starting with Hendon Hooker, it will be a handoff to Khalil Herbert. Herbert's going to fight for 6 yards. First down, Virginia Tech, and a promising look. The Virginia Tech offense has almost seemed to mitigate this Clemson Tigers defense that has done such a great job so far this season.
They've actually produced answers, Tyler, against this Clemson Tigers defense. They have a mix of bubble screens, screen plays, jet sweeps here and there, but also running up the middle. So they've been doing a good job so far keeping the Tigers on their heels, and they've been able to really control what they want to do in this game. And so far, it's working well. They're slow, they're taking their time, and they're really moving the ball well.
5 minutes and 30 seconds remaining in the second quarter. Pass is complete to Tavion Robinson. Almost goes down, gains about a yard before being taken down. So a loss on the play. In on the tackle was Jordan Williams for the Tigers. And after a lot of progress, they get backed up on a play.
Yeah, those are going to happen every now and then, though. The Tigers' defense is still good. Even though they've been doing some good play calling here and there, that Clemson defense is superb. So now the thing is how are you going to produce other things if Casey screens and these draws don't work? What's going to happen? And that's something they're going to have to probably figure out in the second half.
Loss of 2, 2nd and 12 on the 36-yard line, just under 5, and the clock is ticking for Virginia Tech. 2 receivers to the left, 2 receivers to the right. It's going to be a jet sweep to Raheem Blackshear, and Blackshear gets taken down behind the line of scrimmage yet again. So 2 losses will set up a 3rd and long. It's going to be around 3rd and 14.
Yeah, now you're going to have to start thinking about how do I put Brian Johnson in an area where I can rely on him to kick a field goal. That's something that's going to be something that Virginia Tech is probably going to want to dial up on this 3rd and 14.
So it'll be 3rd down and 13 with just about 4 minutes remaining in the first half. We'll see what Virginia Tech can do. They have not had too much success when they need to get a lot of yards in a single play. So we'll see what they dial up against the number 3 team in the country in their defense. So far tonight, they're 2 for 4 on 3rd downs. Burmeister back to pass. Burmeister looking deep, throws deep. That one's going to be incomplete, intended for Hodge. Just overthrowing the receiver was Burmeister, and it'll be a 4th down and 13. And it looks like, yet again in Clemson territory, Virginia Tech is going to have to bring on their punting unit.
Yeah, tough break there. I think there's just a missed throw from Burmeister. He tried to go over the shoulder of Hodge. Just could not make the connection. A 55-yard attempt now coming up for Brian Johnson. This will be a very impressive field goal if he's able to make him. Only 30% in his career.
His career long is 55 yards. That came earlier this season against the North Carolina Tar Heels. We'll see if he can do it at Lane Stadium. The kick is up. It has the accuracy. It has the distance. A 55-yard field goal, and Brian Johnson has tied his career high. It is 10-10 at Lane Stadium.
Yeah, special teams are really hype about that one. Big conversion, and they weren't able to really go downfield in that drive like they wanted to with that starting field position, but still able to get the 3 points on the board, and we're not up with under 4 minutes to go in the half.
Well, the Clemson Tigers have 10 points. The Virginia Tech Hokies also have 10 points. The Tigers will get it back before the end of the half when we return on 3304 Sports. Welcome back to Lane Stadium. This is a tie ball game between the number 3 Clemson Tigers and the unranked Virginia Tech Hokies. We're tied at 10 just before halftime. A kickoff by Virginia Tech, giving it back to the Clemson Tigers. Will go through the end zone for a touchback. So Trevor Lawrence, Travis Etienne, and Dabo Sweeney will try to draw something up to score just before the half from the 25-yard line.
Yeah, now Clemson offense is realizing we only have 10 points so far in this first half. We're a team that comes into this game with the best first quarter margin. They only got to walk away with it with a +4 while they led the FBS around +127. They're used to really coming in and dominating the team straight off the bat. That has been the case today, and now they're asking questions. Oh, how do we try to take a lead before we go into the locker room?
They will have just about 4 minutes to do so. Travis Etienne with the handoff, breaks a couple tackles. A very nice gain by Etienne, gains 14 yards, first down Tigers.
And that's the thing, we haven't really said Etienne's name that much today. We've seen a lot more through the air than Clemson really has, but now in this hurry-up offense, they might try to go with Travis a little bit more.
Both teams with all 3 timeouts remaining as we wind down the first half. 3:30 to go. Etienne's going to get the handoff again, but this time he's swallowed up by a host of Hokies. Gain of 2 on the play. Breon Murray in on the stop as the primary Tech tackler.
Yeah, make Clemson try to go something else now. Say, no, you're not going to get more of these 15-yard carries from Travis Etienne. Good stop for only a 2-yard gain. Keeps that clock moving.
Lawrence is back with a 2nd down and 8. Virginia Tech has done a great job of controlling the ball, plus 11 minutes on time of possession. Etienne going to get, no, it's going to stay with Trevor Lawrence. That fake even faked me, as it was a 7-yard gain for Lawrence, 3rd down and 1.
Yeah, only 2nd carry of the game. The first one was a 17-yard score. This one's an 8-yard pickup for a first down, and sometimes the quarterback has to do it all, but sometimes that's just a good run right there. Gets him out to midfield and keeps the drive going for the Tigers.
It'll be 1st and 10 from midfield at the 50-yard line, just a yard shy of getting into Virginia Tech territory. 2 receivers on both sides. A couple of motion will put Etienne right behind Trevor Lawrence. Another motion from right to left. A fake jet sweep. Etienne's going to get the handoff again, but he's wrestled down. A short gain. Alan Tisdale on the stop for Virginia Tech.
And Tisdale making a big tackle right there on Etienne. Another short run there for Travis Etienne. So Virginia Tech knows how to stop the rush from Etienne so far. Their plays have to be making now on 2nd and 3rd down. That's where Clemson's really been able to extend this drive.
So it'll be 2nd and 7 from the Virginia Tech 47-yard line. 2 receivers to the right side for Trevor Lawrence. Completed pass. That one's going to be complete to Amari Rogers. Rogers is going to gain 10 yards on the play. First down, under 2 minutes to go. Now that we're inside 2 minutes of the half, the clock will stop to reset the chains. Both teams, again, with all 3 timeouts.
Yeah, a lot of time management left for both teams for sure. That's a big play there for the Clemson. Another first down, and now they're moving into field goal range looking to score.
They'll set up at the 38-yard line. It's going to be a handoff. Breaking free for Clemson is going to be Lynn J. Dixon. Dixon's first carry of the day, a huge gain for a first down, getting inside the 30.
That's a great rush right there from Dixon Jr. We haven't said his name at all tonight. It's been all Etienne. He comes in, makes a significant run for the Tigers. Looks like he's staying in for this play as well.
Dixon will remain behind behind Lawrence. 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. And Dixon's going to get the handoff again, breaking a tackle. 5, touchdown Clemson. Dixon comes in, has 2 runs, and finds the end zone for the Clemson Tigers.
Oh man, Dixon comes in, converts on the first down, and then he runs in with 17 yards. I mean, what a great run. He looks like he had some pressure, had a little bit of a spin move, was able to break the tackle and walk on in, and that's simple as it is right there. Virginia Tech knots it up, and the Clemson offense gets to work and recaptures the lead.
After Etienne wasn't able to produce the way he would have liked against this Virginia Tech defense, they go to their 2nd string in Lynn J. Dixon, who immediately tears apart this Virginia Tech defense, finds the end zone. Kick by Potter is good, 17-10. Clemson with just over a minute to play in the first half.
Well, look at this run here from Lynn J. Dixon. As you can tell, the linebackers comment on the blitz, which opens up the middle of the field, and it's a good tackle attempt right there from Devin Taylor of the Hokies, but it only gets 1 foot, and Dixon does a great job to break free of that tackle and stay on his feet and just walk on into the end zone afterwards. A very solid run there from the backup running back. He hasn't done much all game, and then he comes in and has 2 great runs, and he's the reason why the Tigers are up with just under 70 seconds to go in the half.
So Virginia Tech, although they allowed a touchdown, they do have an opportunity to answer back before the end of the half. They have all 3 timeouts and a minute and 6 seconds on the clock. Potter's going to put the ball on the tee, ready to give it back to the Hokies.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see which teams use their timeouts in this game. If Virginia Tech doesn't look like they're moving the ball that well, Clemson might start using their timeouts and might have another opportunity of scoring it before the half. Virginia Tech, though, with their 3 timeouts, with 66 seconds to go, they might be sitting at an opportunity of saying, let's get the ball in the field goal range and let's try to make the margin a little bit closer.
Potter's kick, like the rest of them, unlike the rest of them, are going to be able to be returned by Khalil Herbert. Herbert breaks a tackle, finding space, a juke by Herbert, and an excellent return gets them to the 32-yard line.
I mean, that was only a return to the 32-yard line, but it looks like he did a lot more effort to return that one as he took it out and he ran all the way out to the 32-yard line. Better position. I don't know about that one though with a clock though, as we're seeing about 57 seconds possibly for Virginia Tech, so a little bit less time for them to work with, but now they're going to have to get a score here with 3 timeouts remaining.
Although those 7 yards could come back to help the Hokies, at the end of the half, they will have 55 seconds. Burmeister, 8 for 9 today, will return under center for the Hokies. 3 receivers all stacked to the right side, and it will be Herbert taking the handoff, heading to the left. Gain of around 4 yards, staying inbound, so the clock will keep ticking at 45 seconds. 17-10, a Clemson lead.
So it looks like the Hokies are a little slow to get to the line of scrimmage here. Don't know if they signal for a timeout. There's been no indication for it just yet. I think the Virginia Tech Hokies are just not going to be that aggressive here on this final drive of the quarter and just go in the half with only a 7-point deficit.
It is 2nd down and 6. Burmeister looking to the sideline. Play clock and game clock separated by around 6 seconds as it currently stands at 11 seconds, and it looks like they are trying to milk the clock. It will be confirmed if they go with another run play. Burmeister under center. A bit of motion, and it will be a handoff to Khalil Herbert. Herbert's going to turn on the afterburners to the 50-45, gets out of bounds with 2 seconds left, and it looked like they were trying to catch Clemson off guard by waiting so long to get a playoff, and then having Herbert trying his best to get to the end zone.
Yeah, it was a kind of a great run there from Herbert. Don't know if he was actually looking to go that far downfield, but he was able to. And now he goes out to around the Clemson 43-yard line. This is a weird territory now. You're saying to yourself, well, do I really trust Johnson that much to kick a 60-yard field goal, or do I take a shot to the end zone right here? Interesting that Virginia Tech didn't use their timeouts, though. I think that with Herbert, he could have had a run like that, and you could have significantly more time on the clock. Now you're in a situation where you only have 1 play before the half. So Virginia Tech going to be using their timeout here, their first timeout of the half, but it'll be interesting to see what Fuente draws up before we go into the break.
So there are 2 seconds left. It was a 30-second timeout for Virginia Tech as they're already returning to the field to play. Khalil Herbert is going to stay on the sideline for this end-of-half play. 3 receivers are going to line up to the right, 1 to the left. It looks like a Hail Mary formation. Clemson playing prevent defense, lined up at the 43-yard line. Burmeister going to take the snap. Rolling to the right side. Burmeister throwing deep, looking end zone, a lot there. This one is caught by Raheem Blackshear, but out of bounds at the 1-yard line. Blackshear can't believe it, and that will end the first half. Unbelievable. Virginia Tech gets to the 1-yard line as time expires.
Oh, man, this play is going to go under review for sure, but they don't say football is a game of inches for nothing, Tyler. I mean, you have to knock it down for Clemson. They do that, not a successful knockdown. Raheem Blackshear for the after, and then just steps out of bounds. Inches short of being able to tie this game up before the half. I mean, this is the play right here that maybe defines the outcome of this game when it's all said and done. Man, that's the craziest 42-yard reception that probably Raheem Blackshear is going to have in his whole collegiate career, as he was just inches away. If you have maybe one maroon jersey in front of you giving you a block, Blackshear gets in, but a swarm of white jerseys just pushes him out at the 1.
It was Darion Kendrick pushing Raheem Blackshear out of bounds. He is upset. Christian Darrisaw coming over to comfort Raheem Blackshear. The look that we saw from that goal line camera, from what we're looking at, looked to be clearly short of the goal line. So it is unfortunate for Raheem Blackshear. And indeed, the call will be confirmed. A catch down to the 1-yard line. But instead of it being 1st and goal from the 1, it will be the Clemson Tigers receiving the second half kickoff. We'll be back on 3304 Sports. For our halftime coverage, when we return for the second half, Andy Loce will take over on play-by-play. The halftime report coming up on 3304 Sports. Welcome back for our halftime report on 3304 Sports. The Clemson Tigers come into the locker room with a 17-10 lead over the Virginia Tech Hokies. We just saw quickly after we left you at the half and before we came on to here, that similar events to what happened at the end of the half between Virginia Tech and Clemson happened in Conway, South Carolina as well.
Yeah, Coastal Carolina barely surpassing BYU in a game between 9-0 teams. The first time that has happened since 2009. An excellent game down there in South Carolina, but Zach Wilson's throw to the goal line just wasn't enough, as it was a caught by the receiver and he was met around the 1 or 2 yard line. So just a similar series of events. You see that happen in a 2-minute window with Blackshear and then with with BYU. So both on the bad end of the spectrum for those two teams. Coastal Carolina, though, another undefeated team goes down. We saw Marshall go down today to Rice 20-0, and now BYU goes down 22-17. Coastal Carolina improving their stock as one of the group of 5 teams trying to get a New Year's 6.
Well, the bigger storyline today is in the game that we have in front of us. The 4-5 Virginia Tech Hokies have a competitive game with the number 3 team in the country.
Yeah, looking at the Vegas line and looking at what experts were saying, predictions here and there, people were saying that this game was going to be close. And I think if you watch the first half, you're saying to yourself, man, Virginia Tech is playing much better today, and Clemson really isn't playing that great at all. I mean, look at that play right there at the end of the game with Blackshear, who almost got in the end zone. Sometimes they say it's better to be lucky than good, just a little bit short of being lucky right there for Blackshear. But if you're going to take away that play, though, I think Virginia Tech did the stuff they wanted to do. Keep the ball on the ground, have a high time of possession, and keep Trevor Lawrence off the field.
As much success as Virginia Tech had, still credit is due to the Clemson defense only allowing 10 points in the half.
Yeah, it's a solid first half there from Clemson Tigers. You say in any situation like, oh yeah, 10 points allowed in the halftime, we'll take that any day of the week. And that's exactly what Clemson did. They had some slip-ups and letting Virginia Tech drive down the field a little bit. But then again, Virginia Tech made some mistakes. Hendon Hooker had a little bit of a bobbled snap in the first drive of the game. You had Brock Hoffman, who committed a personal foul, which took the Hokies out of field goal range. But now you're looking at the game and saying, all right, that was maybe some of the worst offense we've seen in a while. Defense are playing great, and now the offense is saying to themselves, how are we going to get past this Virginia Tech defense? But the Clemson defense has to understand they have to take the Hokies out of the field if they're going to really run away with this game. They know that Trevor Lawrence can really expose this Hokies defense if they give them more opportunities. Trevor Lawrence and Clemson haven't had many opportunities, but they've still been able to benefit off of them, which is what we exactly thought was going to happen with Clemson in this game.
Another mistake Virginia Tech making on offense is more on the side of coaching. And at the end of the half, a long Khalil Herbert run almost woke the Virginia Tech offensive coaches up, including Brad Cornelson, the offensive coordinator for the Hokies, into saying, let's go for this and try to score. And that was the Hail Mary completed by Burmeister that just was a yard short. But they had 55 seconds at the start of that drive with all 3 timeouts. A short run by Herbert let them sit on it. And I believe it confused us when we saw it, thinking that they were just going to run the clock out. But immediately after the snap, Herbert runs down the field, gets a long first down run of, I believe, 14 yards, and Virginia Tech goes for the Hail Mary and almost gets it. So a big mistake, in my opinion, was letting that clock run down so much and making a play with 6 seconds left, getting out of bounds with just 2 seconds left when you could have had a lot more time to get down the field and score.
Yeah, the clock management was quite confusing, Tyler. I don't know why Virginia Tech elected to sit on that. I really thought that they had a good opportunity of working the ball down the field and maybe putting themselves in a situation where they could maybe get a field goal or a touchdown. I think if you use those 2 or 3 timeouts well in that last drive, I bet we're seeing it's a 4-point game or maybe even knotted up at 17 apiece. So just things that I don't understand, but Virginia Tech was still able to get to the 1 yard line on that drive, even though their clock management wasn't really exactly what we thought it was going to be.
So far, Clemson right now seeking their sixth straight ACC championship game appearance. They would take on Notre Dame if they hold on to this 7-point lead in the second half and eventually take the victory. However, they have been down so far this season. They were down against Boston College in a game they only won by 6 points on Halloween. They lost to Notre Dame in double overtime. But after that game against Pittsburgh last week for the Clemson Tigers, back to form for the Tigers and a dominant performance. But that 2-week stretch in which they didn't have Trevor Lawrence against the Eagles of Boston College and the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame was a bit of a hiccup for the Clemson Tigers. And we're almost seeing that hiccup again, although Lawrence is back under center.
Yeah, DJ Uiagalelei.
Let me help you with that. Uian Galale.
Galale. Just a great guy to come into that game, and he did a really good job of making sure the Clemson Tigers did not skip a beat. You talk about that Boston College game, Tyler, where, I was tuning in and watching that one on Halloween as well. Yeah, Clemson did not look good, but his quarterbacking skills, able to get into that game, and he knew that he was going to be up against a tough task. Trevor Lawrence had that positive COVID-19 result on Thursday, which meant on Friday he had to step in and play a big role. And he led a good comeback against the Boston College Eagles and able to get their win. It feels like the Clemson Tigers at home in Death Valley always have one game every year that's much closer than people anticipate. That was that Boston College game. And then going up to Notre Dame in November is such a huge ask for your backup quarterback. I mean, that is a game where you need to have your perfect lineup set in order to put yourselves in a good position to win that game. No Lawrence. That's a major disadvantage for the Tigers, but still came out and he did his job and he was able to work well in that game. So I just want to put some credit on his name as well. But I think the Clemson Tigers are also a little bit upset about the way that Florida State handled things in that game, knowing that it could potentially cost them a spot, not a spot, but a more consideration into the college football playoff. The more games you play, the better your resume looks in that for that selection committee. So with that game being postponed to a later date, I think Clemson was a little upset. They came out against Pittsburgh. They did their job. Right now, they took a little bit of getting out of the gate. I won't be surprised if Coach Sweeney is in there right now saying that they have to wake up and really dominate the second half.
Clemson wearing their orange championship breeches that they call them, that they know it's time to get serious when they see the orange breeches hanging up in their lockers. This is likely going to be the regular season finale for the Clemson Tigers. Meanwhile, for Virginia Tech, next week they host in-state bitter rival the Virginia Cavaliers, who have looked impressive, including a win over Boston College today. 3304 will have the call of next week's game between Virginia Tech and Virginia, with Jake Lyman and Evan Hughes on the call for that one. But for Virginia Tech, two really important games. A statement game against the number 3 team in the country, in which they find themselves down only a touchdown at halftime, and then trying to win the Commonwealth Cup back next week after losing it after winning 15 years in a row.
Yeah, that's so many things on the line. It's so crazy at the end of the season, so chaotic for Virginia Tech. I mean, you're also talking about multiple scenarios. You talk about a game against Clemson, which is, of course, a huge task for any team in all of college football. Then you got your in-state rivals, Virginia, which you're trying to regain that Commonwealth Cup that was going to be played in September, but it moved all the way back in December due to some COVID-19 situations between both programs. And then now you say to yourself, what about that bowl streak? That's 26 years strong. How are you going to make sure that it continues into this season as well? It's either 26 or 27. It's one of those two numbers. I didn't do my research on that. But, hey, it's a big bowl streak on hand right now for Virginia Tech, and they got to make sure that they finish off the season well to look like they deserve a spot in one of these bowl games. Of course, they don't have to get 500 this year. There's no win minimum. But there's plenty of teams that are doing well across college football right now that have more of a say to be invited to a bowl game than the Hokies do right now.
Well, the Clemson Tigers will receive the football, trying to add on to their 7-point lead when we return for the second half. Andy Loce taking over play-by-play duties when we come back for the second half of action here on 3304 Sports.
Hello and welcome back here to Lane Stadium, where the Clemson Tigers lead the Virginia Tech Hokies in an ACC matchup 17-10. Hello, I'm Andy Loce, joined alongside with Tyler Katz. Glad to bring you the second half here on 3304 Sports. Game will kick off with Brian Johnson, who will boot it from his own 35, and it will go out the back of the end zone and a touchback. So the Clemson Tigers will be back on offense to start off the second half. Last drive, they were able to score off a Dixon Jr. run. This starts off in 1st and 10 as Lawrence is in the shotgun position, and he will hand it off to Travis Etienne, who works it up for 2 yards down the middle.
Etienne has had a few good runs, but for the most part, Tech has been able to keep him in check so far. Short gains and another one here, gaining only 2.
For a team that averages about 362.8 passing yards a game, only have 9-9 on the night. 2nd and 8. Lawrence in shotgun, 3 wide receivers, 2 to the left, 1 to the right. He fakes the handoff to Etienne. He rolls off to the left side, trying to find some open space, and he is tackled from behind. A big tackle made there from Amari Barno for a 1-yard loss. 3rd and 9 coming up for the Clemson Tigers.
Barno leads Virginia Tech and 4th in the ACC in tackles for a loss with 12.5. Gets another one there for a loss of 1.
3rd and 9 coming up for the Clemson Tigers, trying to avoid a 3-and-out to get the second half going.
Yeah, they had a 3-and-out in the first half. That was almost unexpected from Virginia Tech. Chance for a second here.
Just under 14 minutes ago here in this third quarter. Lawrence in shotgun, 4 wide receivers, 1 to the left, 1 to the right. Etienne works from his right to his left. 4 seconds on the play clock. Here comes the snap from Lawrence. He looks in, stays in the pocket, fires the left side. He's got Powell. Powell trying to work up the middle, but he'll be well short of that first down marker. Only a 2-yard gain on the play. Gerard Hewitt is the one who's able to make the tackle. And after, kind of a disappointing end with Blackshear not able to get in the end zone off that Hail Mary, Virginia Tech defense comes out and forces a 3-and-out on the Tigers.
And automatically, looking at both sidelines, you can tell the mood. Clemson's heading back to the sideline, disappointed, shaking their heads. Tech fired up.
Will Spires is back to punt, only a second of the game. This one will go and take a bounce right around the Virginia Tech 40. That will register for 32 yards on that punt. So Virginia Tech, they were able to start in midfield for a drive last half. This one, they're going to start around the 40.
It's been a good game for Virginia Tech in terms of starting field position. They had one kickoff that they returned to the 32-yard line. Only one time where they've had a touchback against them. Other than that, good field position for Virginia Tech and a chance here to tie this game at 17 on this drive.
So now the Hokies will have 1st and 10 at their own 40 with 13:04 remaining. Burmeister takes the snap and shotgun and hands it off to Khalil Herbert, who spins his way around for around a 4-yard gain. And he'll work it out now to the 44 of Virginia Tech.
It's been a good game for Braxton Burmeister, although we never expected him to have this much playing time. Hendon Hooker had that opening series. He took a big shot on that fumble that he recovered. Potentially an injury to Hendon Hooker. However, he looked fine in full uniform and helmet on the sideline.
Yeah, so we haven't seen Hooker since that first drive, but Burmeister coming in 9 of 10 for 126 passing yards. He's in shotgun here with 2 wide receivers, 2 tight ends motion over to the left for the Hokies. He hands it off to Herbert, who is able to get back to the line of scrimmage where he is met up by Miles Murphy. No gain on the play there for the graduate student, and we mentioned about Virginia Tech keeping the ball on the ground. That's how they started the first 2 plays in this drive.
And so far, it's Khalil Herbert has been able to have success, but there are those times you got to remember this is the Clemson Tigers defense that are stuffing him behind the line of scrimmage, and Miles Murphy, a big part of that Clemson defense.
Leads the Tigers with 2 forced fumbles on the year, as Virginia Tech is looking to convert on this third down. 4 wide receivers for Burmeister in the shotgun. He's got Herbert to his left. He takes the snap. Tiger sending 6. There's a screenplay to Herbert, but he's going to be wrapped around behind the line of the scrimmage. That will be the cornerback, Nolan Turner, getting to him first. And Clemson with a 3 and out, and then the Clemson defense forces the Hokies to have one as well.
So an interesting start to the second half where both defenses are waking up. Both of these defenses are in the top 5 in the country in sacks per game, but a credit to both teams' offensive lines. We haven't seen a sack on either side of the football, just great run defense.
So on this 4th and 5, Oscar Bradburn will come out, and he has trouble with the snap, and he has to get that one away. This won't be a great punt at all. As the pressure came, it's going to be picked up from the Tigers and returned to the Virginia Tech 48. Clemson sent the pressure. Bradburn had his difficulties with the snap. He just had to get a foot on it. It didn't go very far. It went pretty high, but not enough on that one. And that was Elijah Turner who was able to pick it up and return 7 yards and put Clemson into Virginia Tech territory.
Yeah, and that's a mistake that it's the second time we've seen it from Virginia Tech today. A bad snap forces a bad play for Virginia Tech, and this time it happens on special teams.
Yeah, it was just so much pressure coming from the Clemson Tigers, and with Bradburn not able to secure it on that snap, that was leading towards disaster. Lucky enough for Bradburn, he was able to get a foot on it and put it over the Clemson defense, but that punt will only register for about 3 yards. It only went 10 yards in the first place, and then Turner returning it for 7. So Clemson now having a good opportunity at really starting with excellent field position here and really put this game out of the reach for the Virginia Tech Hokies, looking to make it a 2-score game, which we haven't seen yet so far tonight.
Yeah, Virginia Tech has done a good job of keeping the number 3 team in the country within arm's reach. We've seen Virginia Tech make stops where they need to, and while they've only had the lead once in this ball game, they've done a good job of keeping Clemson at bay. They've made stops, and even if Clemson goes down the field and scores a touchdown, they have shown they're able to make stops. They have shown they're able to score. So although some might see Clemson as pulling away, we've seen this Virginia Tech team have potential to come back and score against the last year's national runner-ups.
Well, the difficulty now is making sure that you get Trevor Lawrence and the Clemson offense off of the field. They've had 2 or 3 and outs today, which has been a great result for them so far, but in other possessions where they've been able to score, Clemson has looked unstoppable. So it depends on where they're really starting at with this one. Let's look at the Clemson offense a little bit statistically speaking. Lawrence, 8 of 13, hasn't really done much to the air. No touchdown passes yet. He has not been sacked so far. So a pretty average game there for Trevor Lawrence, who's been able to really make sure that he doesn't feel pressure. And if he does, he gets it away. When we look at the running back situation, look at Etienne only averaging about 5 yards per carry, but look at Dixon, what he's been able to do. Only 2 carries tonight for 38 yards. So looking at this way right now, Tyler, do you think that Clemson should go more ground to pound, or do you think they should try to go back with their passing arsenal?
Well, the run game hasn't worked the way Clemson would want it to. Travis Etienne has been effectively almost shut down by Virginia Tech. Lynn J. Dixon getting the progress for Clemson so far, and then Trevor Lawrence showing that he could be a dual threat quarterback, getting his 5th rushing touchdown of the year. But so far, yeah, I think it should be more of a air raid offense. Virginia Tech's secondary has been burned all year, whether that be COVID or by being outskilled. And when you have an unranked team against the number 3 team in the country, that's your defending conference champion, you have to go through that air raid offense and let Lawrence show what he could do through the skies.
We've mentioned it. There's some key factors that are missing so far in today's game for the Hokies, Emmanuel Belmar being one of them, Jermaine Waller, a pretty highly rated cornerback for Virginia Tech. So the drive will start at Virginia Tech's 48. As Trevor Lawrence is in shotgun on 1st and 10. He'll keep it himself. No, he'll give it off to Travis Etienne, who takes a 2-yard loss as he's wrapped up at the 50-yard line. A big tackle made there from Barno and Tisdale. So another big defensive stop right there on that 1st and 10 carry from Travis Etienne. 2nd down and 12 coming up for the Clemson Tigers.
And that's what I was talking about just a few seconds ago. Travis Etienne have almost effectively shut down, in fact, losing yards.
Lawrence is in shotgun on 2nd and 12. He has 3 wide receivers. He'll stay in the pocket and give the throw as he connects to Powell, who is able to have a good catch and run. He will get the first down on that play, 15 yards. He'll be stepped out around the 36-yard line, and Clemson with this no-huddle offense now. 1st and 10 coming up for the Tigers.
No-huddle offense has been working so far.
Lawrence in shotgun. He's got 3 wide receivers to the right, 1 to the left. He's looking towards the left. It's going to be a man-on-man coverage, and the connection will not be made. A great defensive stop right there for Virginia Tech. He was trying to get to his receiver on the play, which was number 13, Tyler Davis. Excuse me, that's not Tyler Davis.
Brandon Spector
on that play. Of confusion there on the stats. But then it was a great break up there from Murray. 2nd and 10 coming up now for Clemson. 3 wide receivers, 2 to the left, 1 to the right. He's got Etienne in the backfield. He fakes the handoff to Etienne and delivers the check down to Davis Allen, who stays on his feet and able to roll over that tackle and get about a 4-yard pickup, and now moves over to the Virginia Tech 31 and a 3rd and 6 coming up for the Clemson Tigers.
And so far, Virginia Tech, we've talked about this all day, doing a great job of stopping the Tigers on defense and maybe able to force Clemson a very long field goal for B.T. Potter.
This is a big play for the Hokies defense here on 3rd and 6. Trevor Lawrence is in shotgun where he has 4 wide receivers, 2 to the left, 1 to the right. Tigers are now on the 31 of Virginia Tech. They got to get to the 25. Lawrence takes a snap, stands in the pocket, throws to the right side. It is caught. Spector makes the grab and he gets a first down. He was able to beat out Chapman on the man-on-man coverage, and he targeted him earlier in this drive about 2 plays ago. They go back to Spector and he gets the first down. It keeps the drive going for Clemson.
And this is what Clemson has been doing so well all season and almost showing a return to form after a second half in which Tech kept it close.
Lawrence is in shotgun. He has 3 wide receivers to the left. He opts to hand it off to Etienne, but he keeps it himself actually as another fake out right there from Trevor Lawrence. Able to collect 4 or 5 on that play, and the Tigers are back in the red zone.
And Clemson just doing an excellent job of finding the holes in the Virginia Tech defense. It maybe took some coaching at halftime, but it seems they've adjusted well.
2nd and 5, keeping the intensity up on offense for the Tigers with 3 wide receivers and Etienne in the backfield. Lawrence will take the snap on 2nd and 5. He hands off to Etienne, and Etienne will just be short or just on that 11-yard line for the first down. It looks like the referees are going to call him just short on that play. So 3rd and short coming up now for the Clemson Tigers. 8 minutes ago here in Lane Stadium, the Clemson Tigers up 17-10 over the Virginia Tech Hokies. Clemson right now driving as they've worked it into Virginia Tech's red zone. It's now 3rd and 1 with Trevor Lawrence in shotgun. He's got 2 wide receivers, 1 on each side. He takes the snap, he hands off to Etienne. Etienne able to plow his way forward for the first down as he will be around the 8-yard line. And now 1st and goal coming up for Clemson. Well, we mentioned what Clemson was going to do on this drive. They are keeping it on the ground. 8 plays so far in this drive, 40 yards in about 3 minutes and 20 seconds. Lawrence is in shotgun with 2 wide receivers to the left. Galloway going from left to right. Lawrence will take the snap. He'll give it to Etienne in the backfield. He has a burst of speed behind the line of scrimmage, but he is wrapped up for the tackle around the 4-yard line. Jamari Connor and Alan Tinsdale credited with the tackles.
And 2nd and goal, Clemson trying to go up by 2 scores. They've had an even attack, 5 running plays, 4 passing plays, and we'll see what they go with to try to punch the ball into the end zone.
2nd and goal now, Clemson on the 4-yard line. 2 wide receivers, 1 on the left, 1 on the right. Lawrence in shotgun. He takes the snap and he hands it over to Etienne. A flag on the play. Looks like this one could go against the Clemson Tigers. So it will be a false start penalty. It's going to be on number 17, Cornell Powell, who was the wide receiver on the right side. Their first penalty tonight. Now, you can talk about how the game is out the score-wise, but that is a successful night so far for Clemson to not commit a penalty until this moment.
Yeah, they're a very disciplined team, and credit to Coach Dabo Swinney for keeping them that way. But a 3-year letter winner at Alabama as a wide receiver and a wide receivers coach, Powell should know better than to do that.
Trevor Lawrence will take the snap on 2nd and goal and hand off to Etienne, who's trying to work it to the left side and just trying to find any hole he can get. He finds one, but it only is good enough for 1 yard. And now 3rd and goal coming up now for Clemson. They sit at Virginia Tech's 8-yard line. But Tyler, I think the most important factor already, it's only the 3rd quarter, but we're already over halfway through this quarter.
Yeah, and it's a lot of time management. We talked about it in the first half, how Virginia Tech was controlling time of possession. Now it's almost flipped with Clemson keeping the ball.
This is a 4 wide receiver set here for Trevor Lawrence on 3rd and goal. He has Etienne in the backfield with him. He goes up to his line to discuss things a little bit as he works back into shotgun. Etienne will work from the right to the left. 2 wide receivers on each side for Lawrence. Lawrence takes a snap in shotgun. He's looking to the left, looking down the middle. He fires, and it's picked off. It is picked off by Tavion, and he will kneel in the end zone. A rare interception from Trevor Lawrence, and it finds the hands of Diablo. And now Virginia Tech makes an excellent defensive stop in the red zone again.
161 completions heading into today's game for Trevor Lawrence. Even more so, up to this point, only the 3rd interception for Trevor Lawrence. A ratio now of 19 touchdowns to 3 interceptions. Credit to Divine Diablo. Just an incredible series. Trevor Lawrence is human after all.
Well, that's going to be a big stop for Virginia Tech, as Clemson was surely going to get points on that drive, field goal or touchdown, but now the tides have turned. Virginia Tech will start with possession on their own 25-yard line when we come back here for 33:04 Sports. Clemson on top, 17-10. Welcome back here to Lane Stadium, where the Clemson Tigers lead the Virginia Tech Hokies 17-10 here on 33:04 Sports. Devon Diablo just intercepted Trevor Lawrence. It's only 3rd interception of the year, and Braxton Burmeister and the offense are starting at the Virginia Tech 25. He takes a snap in shotgun as he feels the pressure of Clemson's rush and tries to fire it to Tavion Robinson. The pass is denied by Clemson, and now that will bring up 2nd and 10. There is a penalty on the play. Don't want to know if this one's going to go against the Hokies or not.
And it's a chop block against against Virginia Tech. So a big penalty after the swatted pass. They end up losing yards on the chop block.
Jeff Heiser has had a very quiet night so far today. That one's on Brock Hoffman, who has more penalties than the Clemson Tigers combined. So that is going to be a chop block that moves them back 10 yards. That will bring up 1st and 20. But Diablo, we were looking at this a little bit here. What a veteran play right there. To get in the way of that ball, but then also kneel in the end zone, not running out. Try to just take the yards, and that's exactly what they do. It's actually 1st and 20 now at the 10-yard line. Burmeister will take the snap and shotgun as he'll hand it off to Robinson, which was an absolute fake in our eyes as well, as it looks to be a turnover. Burmeister, who was running to the left side with the football, turned the ball over, and this one is going to go Clemson's way. So after a big interception by the Virginia Tech defense to stop the Clemson drive, Clemson comes back with their massive turnover, and they're able to get the ball at the 12-yard line as well. Burmeister lost control of it. The forced fumble looks to come from Miles Murphy, and it's Mario Goodrich of Clemson who's able to land on it. A huge turning point in this game right now, Tyler.
2 big players for Clemson's defense. Miles Murphy extends his team lead, his 3rd forced fumble. Mario Goodrich had 2 interceptions against Pittsburgh last week. He gets another turnover with a fumble recovery and a big play for the Tigers.
5:18 to go, 1st and 10. Trevor Lawrence will take the snap and shotgun. He'll keep it himself and run up the right side. He's pushed out of bounds by Murray. So that will now be a 2nd down and roughly 5 to go for Trevor Lawrence and the Clemson offense. Just over 5 minutes remaining. The Tigers lead the Hokies 17-10 here in Lane Stadium on Saturday Night Football. We're glad you're listening to us here on 33:04 Sports. 2nd and 5 coming up for Clemson. They are on the Virginia Tech 7-yard line. Lawrence in shotgun, 3 wide receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Lawrence will fake the handoff. He'll roll him to the right side. He has daylight, cuts back in, touchdown Clemson. Clemson Tigers extend their lead as a now 23-10 over the Virginia Tech Hokies as Trevor Lawrence calls his number again for the 2nd time tonight.
Yeah, it's been a great night on the ground for Trevor Lawrence. Came into today's game with 4 touchdowns on the ground. Gets half of that tonight. 2 touchdowns on the rush for Trevor Lawrence.
It was a great fake out as he was able to make Alan Tisdale jump in when he was running out. Dorian Strong tried to deliver the blow before it got in, but Trevor Lawrence is able to push the ball past the goal line. Potter comes in and he nails the extra point, and the Clemson Tigers have their largest lead of the night. It's 24-10. Clemson over Virginia Tech from Lane Stadium. You're listening to 3304 Sports coverage of ACC football. Welcome back here to Lane Stadium, where the Clemson Tigers just extended their lead as it's now 24-10 over the Virginia Tech Hokies. BT Potter ready to kick this one off as it goes through the air and into the end zone for a touchback, and the Virginia Tech Hokies will start this drive at their own 25-yard line. Of course, a very disappointing turn of events for the Hokies. A Burmeister fumble in his own territory around the 12-yard line, and he stays in this game, as many were speculating maybe Hooker comes back here, but Burmeister will stay in this ball game at 4:45 to go in this third quarter. Virginia Tech, Burmeister in the shotgun with 2 wide receivers to the right. He hands his ball off to Jalen Holston. Holston with only his second carry of the game. He's able to work that one up the middle for about 3 yards.
Holston has done a great job, not necessarily getting the starting role behind Blackshear and Herbert, but so far a great season for Jalen Holston. He was sidelined last year because of an injury he sustained against Boston College, but 2 touchdowns on the ground and almost averaging 7 yards per carry.
We're just over 4 minutes to go here in this third quarter at Lane Stadium. Virginia Tech has the football as it's now 2nd and 7. As they break the huddle, Burmeister will stay in the game, as well as Jalen Holston. 2 wide receivers to the right. As Blackshear moves over to the left now, as he takes a snap and he's looking towards that right side, stays in that pocket. He's going to deliver a throw to the left side, wide open, but he misses the throw to James Mitchell, the tight end. He worked from the right to the left, and Burmeister just not able to connect on that play. And then with 3:53 to go in this third quarter, the Hokies are facing another 3rd down and 7.
And as good as Braxton Burmeister is, a big flaw is overthrowing receivers. We saw it on a deep pass earlier. We saw it on that Hail Mary play. Although it was completed, it was overthrown and knocked off at the Clemson Tiger. Burmeister just needs to control his strength, and he'll be a quarterback 10 times where he is right now.
A big play for the Hokies as it's 3rd and 7 on their own 28-yard line. 3 wide receivers to the right. Burmeister takes a snap. The Tigers send 6. He delivers the hit, and he is sacked for a loss. A 9-yard loss on the play for Braxton Burmeister, which will bring another 3rd and out. Levante Bentley and Xavier Thomas are the ones who are credited with the sack, and now the Clemson Tigers will get the ball back and look to extend this lead again.
Yeah, just a huge hit by Levante Bentley and Xavier Thomas, both going to get a half sack on the play. Xavier Thomas had a strip sack last week against Pittsburgh, still showing that he can get to the quarterback.
Oscar Bradburn back to punt now for Virginia Tech, as he delivers a great punt, as he will be backing up Amari Rogers to his own 30-yard line, where he will signal for a fair catch, and that's where the Tigers will start with 3:10 remaining in this third quarter. And Tyler, first half looked pretty well for the Hokies and the Tigers, and really the competitiveness between the two teams. And then now Clemson seems to be really in all gears motion right now. Virginia Tech's possessions have been a 3-and-out, a fumble, and a 3-and-out, while Clemson has been able to work the ball down the field in that first drive, scoring on the second drive, and now have another opportunity to extend this lead even more.
It's almost like Clemson was in first gear all the way, idling, trying to get ready for the ACC championship, and now put it up to 6th gear.
Lawrence is in the shotgun on 1st and 10 at their own 30 as 2 wide receivers to the left. He throws it down to that left side as it is out of bounds. The intended target was Amari Rogers. So now 2nd and 10 coming up for the Tigers. We all know the storylines for Clemson coming into this one. They win this game here in Lane Stadium today. They secure a spot in the 2020 ACC championship game against the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, who are number 2 in the nation. So this is a big one for Tigers. It's 18 minutes remaining in this game as a penalty will come in, as looks like the referee will signal for a false start.
And if you have to take your victories where you can get them for Virginia Tech, backing up Clemson 5 yards to the 25-yard line, it's the little victories that sometimes make the biggest difference. And for Virginia Tech, maybe a 5-yard change is all the difference. But other news coming from Virginia Tech as well.
Of course, it looks like Braxton Burmeister is walking back to the locker room, as now 2nd and 15 is coming up for Trevor Lawrence and shotgun with 4 wide receivers still on his sides. He's going to take the carry himself, but it goes right back to the line of scrimmage where he has no gain on the play. This is bringing up 3rd and 15 now for Clemson, as they really need a big conversion here on 3rd down to keep the drive going.
Yeah, back to Braxton Burmeister. Took a big hit on the fumble that was recovered by the Tigers. Going back to the locker room, not a great sign for Virginia Tech. I expect them to go back to Hendon Hooker, however.
3rd and 15, 4 wide receivers for Lawrence using shotgun. 2 to the right, 2 to the left. He takes the snap and he's looking to the left side. He's going to fire the check down to Dixon as it looks to be incomplete. Of course, Shamari Connor running alongside with Dixon as they're trying to scramble for the ball, but it goes well out of bounds. That will bring up 4th down and 15, and the Clemson offense will step off the field, as now it looks to be that the punting team will come out for the Tigers.
Yeah, the Clemson Tigers, you always talk about these teams in the top 5. The punters don't get enough love, but Will Spires for Clemson was a hot recruit. He was originally a walk-on for Clemson, but has turned slowly into one of the best punters in the country for the Tigers, despite playing for one of the best teams.
Well, this would have been a crazy opportunity here for Virginia Tech if they would have known about it. Looking back on this play on 3rd and 15, they're going to rule it as a fumble. Now, that is a crazy outcome, but watching that replay, it was much closer than what originally was in live action. I mean, that ball went out of bounds, so Clemson would be the team with the football, but it does move them back 7 or 8 yards on this play. So that will increase more of an opportunity for Virginia Tech to get better field position after the punt.
I will say Shamari Connor knew that it was a fumble. You take a look at where Trevor Lawrence was. It was around the 23-yard line. That ball landed at around the 22.5. He was at the 22. Ball looked to have landed behind where Lawrence threw it, and I think Shamari Connor knew it. He was in a dead sprint for that ball, trying to beat out the Tiger who was with him, Lynn J. Dixon. The ball was just going too fast for Shamari Connor to catch up, and it ends up rolling out of bounds. It's really close. I don't know if there's enough evidence to overturn. I think this will stay as a fumble and back up Clemson to a 4th and extremely long.
Well, Trevor Lawrence looks to appear to throw the ball when his hand is at the 18-yard line, and when the ball lands, it looks to be at that 17.5. So that is about a foot difference right there, and that's all that's really meant to be a lateral pass. I mean, talk about if he doesn't put enough whip behind that, and the ball doesn't roll all the way out of bounds. I mean, we're talking about a throw that was made on the right hash, and it rolled out of bounds to the left side. So that was a crazy distance that was covered with that throw from Trevor Lawrence. If it is a lateral, then it will be a 4th and 22 coming up for Clemson, and they'll probably have the ball around the 17 or 18-yard line, where it becomes more of a situation, a field position battle now for Virginia Tech.
And we'll get the official ruling. Like I said, I don't think there's enough to overturn, but indeed the call will be reversed as a incomplete forward pass. So it saves Clemson about 7 yards, but still going to have to punt it away and bring on Spires.
Yeah, anyway, situation, it is now 4th and 15 with 2:28 to go. Clemson on top of Virginia Tech 24-10 here in Lane Stadium. So the call on the field is 4th and 15, so Clemson will be able to punt it away around their 25-yard line. Will Spires comes on the punt as he kicks it up in the air, and this one doesn't seem to have much air underneath it at all as it takes a Virginia Tech bounce. It's going to go out of bounds at the Clemson 32-yard line. What a change of events right there as Spires wasn't able to get enough on it. He's holding his head as he's walking out on the sideline. It looks like he's going to talk to a trainer or somebody after that one right there. But this is a huge for Virginia Tech. The punt went directly up in the air. It didn't take a good bounce for Clemson. It rolled all the way back, and if it wasn't for it going out of bounds, this one could even be better for the Hokies.
Yeah, it almost looked like with the pressure that Virginia Tech was running that it could have been tipped, but I just think it was a shanked punt.
The punt will go down to 7 yards as Hendon Hooker steps back on in as shotgun. He'll hand it off to Khalil Herbert, who will run it up for about 2 yards down the middle of the field. Ball will be now placed at the 30-yard line. So for Virginia Tech, this is a lucky break right here. They start their possession off in field goal range. And Hendon Hooker, who we haven't seen since the first drive, checks back on in for the Hokies.
And one thing that I thought Virginia Tech would utilize is Hendon Hooker's running game. We have not seen Hooker take off with the ball yet so far. He's credited with a rush, but that was just the long sack that he had on the fumbled snap.
So now 2nd and 8 coming up for Virginia Tech. Hooker has trouble with the snap again. He bumbles it up, and it's boops around. It's Kendrick. Kendrick has it. Kendrick has open field ahead of him. There's no Hokie that's going to stop him if Hodge can't get him, and he scores. It's a scoop-in score for the Clemson Tigers as this one is 30-10. Hooker, who had another fumble on this play, but this time Clemson makes him pay, and the Tigers are now up by 20.
Wow. That's all I can say. I was just talking about how Hendon Hooker had fumbled the snap in the first half on that first drive. They took him out in place of Braxton Burmeister, comes back in, and fumbles the snap almost 2 plays after he comes in and lets up a scoop and score touchdown. I don't know what you do if you're Virginia Tech because Burmeister's out and you've had 2 terrible mistakes by Hendon Hooker.
Potter is able to make the PAT, and it's now 31-10. I don't know if there's something bothering with Hooker's hand right now, but he seems like he's having a little trouble of collecting the snap. It's going to be a major blow against the Hokies, as that's added to the other list of miscues. So as we go back throughout this game and see some of the unfortunate events for Virginia Tech, but Tyler, Kendrick able to be on that one as they just fumbled it. He just had bobbling it around as it's a pinball machine. It's just kicked out by Kendrick, and he's just able to outrun everyone else. I mean, Hodge had an opportunity of catching up to him, but Kendrick had 6 on his mind, and now up by 21 points. This game is starting to, I don't want to say it like it is, but starting to look like it was what we thought this game was going to become, and Clemson looks to be back to the team that they are, that number 3 team in the nation.
Well, the last time these two teams met, Clemson won 31-17. Mind you, Virginia Tech was ranked 12th when that happened. However, a touchdown away for Virginia Tech from repeating that 31-17 score.
So now Potter will come on in and kick this one off as he will boot it, and it will go all the way to the end zone. Khalil Herbert not going to have an opportunity of returning this punt. Hooker looks to be in some pain on that sideline, so we don't know who will come in at quarterback. But if it is, I believe it's going to be Knox Kadum.
Yeah, Knox Kadum, the 3rd string quarterback now that Quincy Patterson, the 2nd, entered the transfer portal. Not likely to play for the Maroon and Orange again. And indeed, the redshirt freshman Knox Kadum going to get his first experience under center against the Clemson Tigers of all teams.
Kadum going to get a real eye-opening experience here now. It's his 1st and 10 on the Virginia Tech 25-yard line. They've gone to their 3rd quarterback in this game. He hands it off to Khalil Herbert as he was in shotgun, as he will run it up for about 4 yards. We look through the quarterbacks, and Braxton Burmeister delivering a major sack. Might be something wrong with his leg after that one as he was limping into the locker room. Hooker, who has had trouble with really collecting the snap all night, he's had 2 problems with it in only the 2 drives that he's played, who seems to be limping on that sideline. So you go to Knox Kadum, which you have 16 minutes left, and you're trying your hardest to come back in this game where it's a 3-score deficit.
Yeah, Kadum not necessarily experienced, but we'll see if he does get a chance to air it out.
He wears number 12 for the Hokies at the 2nd and 6 as he's in shotgun. He fakes the pitch to Herbert and runs up the middle and gets the first down. So Knox Kadum, in his first ever experience with Virginia Tech Hokies, will collect a first down by using his feet, an 8-yard carry. And now you look at the 6'3 freshman from Rome, Georgia, and you said it right yourself. Number 3 team Clemson, it's a huge task to come in against this Tigers team and really make the most out of it.
Yeah, and Kadum's done a great job so far, a nice quarterback keeper up the middle, and now it's Hendon Hooker almost shivering. We saw him get 2 big hits after those fumbles. He's heading to the locker room as well, so the only 2 active quarterbacks are Knox Kadum and Quincy Patterson, who's not likely to play since he entered the transfer portal. So if Kadum goes down on a big sack by the Clemson Tigers, things can get very interesting in terms of the quarterback situation for Virginia Tech.
It definitely will be, but we have a whole other quarter of football to play as the Clemson Tigers lead the Virginia Tech Hokies 31-10 here in Lane Stadium. You're listening to 3304 Sports coverage of ACC football. Welcome back here to Lane Stadium, where we're here for the start of the fourth quarter. The Clemson Tigers on top of the Virginia Tech Hokies 31-10 as Knox Kadum is in for quarterback for the Hokies, and it's 1st and 10 as he's in shotgun and hands it off to Khalil Herbert, who runs it up the middle and will collect about 5 yards on the play, so 2nd and 5 coming up. Knox Kadum only in this game because look at the week that led up to it. Quincy Patterson declares for the transfer portal. Braxton Burmeister goes down with the injury. It looks like Hendon Hooker has an injury of his own, so they turn to the redshirt freshman quarterback Tyler, who has not seen any action for the Hokies in his career, but he was a good college quarterback. He was 49-6 as his record, 3-star recruit coming here to Virginia Tech, so he has an opportunity of really proving himself against the Clemson Tigers, which is one of the best teams in the ACC in the nation. Kadum will get the snap, and he will hand it off to Khalil Herbert. There's a flag on the play. They let the play go on. It's a 1-yard loss on the play. So with 14-13 to go in this one, a penalty on the play, as it looks like it will go against the Hokies. It will be an illegal shift, and that will now bring up 3rd and 6 as they decline the penalty.
I'll be interested to see if Cornelson and head coach Justin Fuente draw up a pass play for Knox Kadum and really see what he can do. So far, it's either been a quarterback keeper or a handoff to Khalil Herbert. It almost comes too predictable for Dabo Swinney and Brent Venables on the other side of the football.
Let's see what they run here. He has 3 wide receivers to the right side as James Minto cuts back in. Knox Kadum's going to throw it to Tavion Robinson from behind the line of scrimmage, and he's going to battle his way forward and collects the first down. Another first down for the Hokies on this drive as Robinson, who hasn't really said much about his name tonight. It's only his 3rd catch of the night. He has that 48-yard catch, but this one right here is a big 7-yard pickup, and it moves the chains.
And as well for Knox Kadum, you're coming in as a 3rd-string quarterback, come into the season as a 4th string, and you're come in on ABC under the lights against the Clemson Tigers. A lot of nerves to overcome.
1st and 10 for the Hokies. Kadum is in shotgun as it's 2 wide receivers, one to the right, one to the left. He'll hand it off to Herbert. Herbert will run it up the middle and collects 6 yards on the play to the Clemson 46 as he's taken down by Powell. 2nd and 5 now coming up for the Virginia Tech Hokies. 13 minutes ago here in this fourth quarter, as you see Herbert has eclipsed the 1,000 rushing yard mark on the season. Congratulations for Herbert on that one. 3 wide receivers now in for the Hokies. They're all on Kadum's left side. He's got Herbert to his right as he's in the shotgun position on the 2nd and 5. He takes a snap and he's going to hang it off to Herbert, who's going to run forward for about 2 yards. Got past a little bit of a scrub at that line of scrimmage, but now bring up 3rd and short for Virginia Tech as they're now into opponent territory.
Yeah, and like I was saying, it's another handoff to Khalil Herbert. We've seen a lot of running plays. It's a 21-point game, and I know you're still trying to come back if you're Virginia Tech, but I want to see what Kadum can do with that arm throwing the ball.
12 minutes remaining in this one here in the fourth quarter. Clemson on top of Virginia Tech 31-10. It's 3rd and 2 in this one as Virginia Tech just tries to convert another 3rd down and keep this drive going and get themselves back in the game. 5 on the play clock. It's over to Kadum, who's going to keep it himself. It's a design run off the left side, but he is tackled behind the line of scrimmage. It's K.J. Henry and Mike Jones Jr. of Clemson who wraps him up from behind the line of scrimmage for a 2-yard loss. 4th and 4 coming up now, Tyler. And I have to ask you this question. Is it 4-down territory yet for the Hokies?
If you want to win the game, it is. You're down 21 in the fourth quarter. With this Clemson team, I don't think you have enough time or are able to get the ball back without Clemson scoring again. You have to go for it, and it looks like that's what Fuente and Cornelson are going to decide to do.
Well, here we go. Kadum's going to go with it here. It's 3 wide receivers to the left side for the Hokies. It's a 4th and 4. They got to get to the 43. Kadum going to roll out. He almost loses his balance as he tries to throw, but he eats it up, and it's a sack for a major loss of 5 yards. Levante Bentley gets to Kadum and gets a huge sack. It's a turnover on downs. Clemson will get the ball again at their Virginia Tech 49-yard line. This was just a play we saw right here from Kadum. Just an inexperienced guy. He had really nowhere to go, and he ate it up on 4th down. He didn't want to really do anything stupid on that play, but Clemson now all in control. It's 31-10. Clemson over top Virginia Tech here in Lane Stadium. You're listening to 3304 Sports. Welcome back here to Lane Stadium, where we're just over 11 minutes left to go here between the Virginia Tech Hokies and the Clemson Tigers. Clemson will start with the ball at the Virginia Tech 49. Lawrence is in shotgun as he throws it over to the left side. He's got a wide open Cornell Powell, but he stumbles it with his hands and unable to make the catch on the play. A flag comes in within the secondary. This looks like it could be a pass interference on either side. Murray thinks it's going to be against Powell, and it is on the play. So move them back 15 yards as Clemson has 1st and 25 now to work with it.
Yeah, and that's, I keep talking about the little victories for Virginia Tech, and when you're down 21 in the fourth quarter, with the team with the lead having the ball, it's those little victories backing them up on a big pass play that could have gone the other way for Clemson is a big step in the right direction for Virginia Tech to make a Goliath-sized comeback.
1st and 25 now as Powell exits the game. 11 minutes remain. Clemson on top of Virginia Tech 31-10 here in Lane Stadium. This is Saturday Night Football here on 3304 Sports. That penalty moves them back to their own 36. Lawrence will take the snap and he will hang it off to Dixon as he is met up behind the line of scrimmage and will be a loss. So 2nd down and 26 coming up for the Clemson Tigers.
And what Trevor Lawrence has been able to do so far, he has 3 interceptions on the entire season, tying it up with the rest of the quarterbacks that are in the Heisman race. But going on the ground, showing that he can be a dual quarterback as well, 2 rushing touchdowns.
Lawrence takes a snap and shotgun on 2nd and 26. He's going to fire it. He's got Powell. Powell has a beast of speed as he will try to pull away from Murray, and he will score. They try to go to Cornell Powell 2 plays ago. It didn't quite work out. This time he does, and he goes on in for a touchdown. It is 65 yards, and it pretty much wraps this one up here in Lane Stadium. Clemson 37, Virginia Tech 10.
In a huge play, I've just mentioned how Trevor Lawrence in the Heisman front runners and just airing it out, a perfectly placed pass at around the 32-yard line to Cornell Powell for the touchdown. Trevor Lawrence is too good, and if he decides that he wants to go to the NFL draft, which he most likely will, whoever gets that first-round pick is going to have a very lucky draft with Trevor Lawrence at quarterback.
It was only 50 seconds, but the Clemson Tigers put 7 on the board, and they look to go to the ACC championship as Trevor Lawrence finds his experienced receiver in Powell for 65 yards. Clemson 38, Virginia Tech 10. You're listening to 3304 Sports. Welcome back here to Lane Stadium, where it's been all Clemson in this second half. They've outscored the Hokies by 21 points. It now reads 38-10 in this one here at Lane Stadium. Well, this game at halftime looked to be really close and surprisingly competitive, which we thought was going to be a more spread out game. But we've got ourselves a good game here with Clemson, what they've been able to do on the offensive end in the second half. Up by 28 points now. And Tyler, the question is, what do you really do from here on out for Virginia Tech to get back in this one?
Well, you start off by learning what your team is. You still have another regular season game confirmed, potentially able to get into a bowl game. You still have your rival in Virginia next week. And the best way to learn is by playing the best. So although 28 points is extremely unlikely, not impossible, but extremely unlikely for Virginia Tech to come back, especially against the Clemson Tigers, learning what your team is and learning about Knox Kadum, the third-string quarterback, seeing what he can do under center.
Well, Potters kick one out of the end zone for a touchback, so that's where they will start at the 25-yard line as Jalen Holson's going to run the ball forward for 3 yards, so it'll be now 2nd and 7. As the clock is stopped here at 10:04, as that's not a great sight there for Virginia Tech. Christian Darrisaw a little slow to get up. Darrisaw has been making a lot of headlines this year, Tyler, as a guy who could be selected in the first round. 6'5", 314-pound junior offensive tackle. He's a little slow to get up. He doesn't seem to be in serious pain, but we will go to break here as Clemson up 38-10 over Virginia Tech. Welcome back here to Lane Stadium, where we're under 10 minutes to go in this contest between the Clemson Tigers and the Virginia Tech Hokies. 2nd and 7 now for the Hokies as they are on their own 28-yard line with 2 wide receivers, one to the left and one to the right. It will be a handoff, and it'll be kept himself. It'll be Knox Kadum who gets a good carry on that one as he works out to their own 45-yard line. If you don't know about Knox Kadum just yet, if you're just joining us, Braxton Burmeister and Hendon Hooker are both out with what looks to be like an injury. When Quincy Patterson going into the transfer portal earlier this week, Kadum was the next guy to step up, and with that carry, he goes for 19 yards and goes all the way out to the Virginia Tech 47-yard line. Good news for Christian Darrisaw. He is on the sideline standing up, but he's not back in the play of action just yet. Kadum will take the snap and shotgun as he'll fake the handoff to Holston and deliver a throw that just went short of Hodge, the wide receiver for Virginia Tech. Hodge has had a pretty quiet night, but he's received 2 catches for 14 yards on the game. 9:10 remaining here from Lane Stadium. The Clemson Tigers still up by 28 over the Virginia Tech Hokies.
Yeah, and it's been a very informative game for Virginia Tech. Knox Kadum is a dual-threat quarterback similar to Hendon Hooker, has had a lot of good quarterback keepers, including that 19-yard carry.
Kadum's in shotgun now on 2nd and 10 with 9:10 remaining. He'll take the snap, fake the handoff. He feels the pressure, but able to check it down to Jalen Holston, who will run for the first down and more, using that sideline to try to break away from his defenders, and he's tackled inside the 10-yard line. A great catch and run, what looked like to be a disaster for the Hokies. Way to go for Kadum to get the ball out of his hands and give it right to Holston, who was able to do majority of the work. Tiptoeing down that sideline, he'll be just short of the end zone, but now they're in a scoring opportunity.
Yeah, and give credit to Holston as well, being able to run down the sideline and being able to evade the Clemson tacklers. Yes, both of them are going to get the yards, including Kadum, but what an effort by Holston to take that little screen pass and take it all the way against this Clemson defense.
The catch and run, the totals up to 47 yards. It's a Clemson timeout, maybe to try to convince the officials to look at a review, as it looks as if we have the luxury of doing the monitor here for this one, of course, from outside of Lane Stadium here in Blacksburg, Virginia. But it looks like Holston may have almost stepped out of bounds with that heel. It looks as if it was turned, though, on his toes, so it doesn't look like he stepped out of bounds. Whatever it is, it's going to be a good catch and run from Jalen Holston, and still a significant pickup for the Hokies.
And honestly, if it is Clemson trying to get that call, I don't understand why, unless this is for covering purposes. But you're up by 28 points, and you have a redshirt freshman quarterback who in his first appearance with the team has about a 50-yard gain, and they're arguing a 10-yard difference.
Well, the time it was called, there was no review on it, so 8:44 to go. First and goal on the 6-yard line. Kadum will fake the handoff to Hodge, and he'll run up the middle for about 2 yards, and he'll move them to the 4-yard line. We're about halfway left to go here in this fourth quarter. It's 38-10, Clemson over top the Hokies. And the 2nd and goal now for Knox Kadum, who's looking to lead his first ever scoring drive as a Virginia Tech quarterback.
Yeah, in his senior year at high school, he had 21 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, so a great field general and a great recruit for Virginia Tech. And we're seeing glimpses of what he can do in the future as a potential future starting quarterback for Virginia Tech. And who knows, if Burmeister and Hooker are still injured, Knox Kadum could be the starting quarterback in the Virginia Tech versus Virginia game for the Commonwealth Cup next week.
If you told anyone that about 3 or 4 hours ago, Tyler, they might have not even known who Knox Kadum was. It's now 2nd and goal for Kadum as he'll take the snap and he'll give it off to Holston. And Holston loses the ball. It's a loose ball. And who has it? It looks like a Clemson defender is able to pick it up. And another miscue for Virginia Tech near the goal line as Clemson is able to recover it and gain possession again. This comes from Jalen Holston. As when he was tackled and spun around, he lost possession of the ball. It was Keith McGuire who forced the fumble, and it was Niles Pickney who was able to recover it for the Tigers. So what looks like Holston was the star of that drive, the 47-yard catch and run, but as he went out to the right and spun around, he just lost possession of it, and Clemson bounces on top of it.
Yeah, and Clemson has just done such a great job of forcing fumbles. It's their 3rd forced fumble so far today.
A big play here already. Clemson right out the bat as they went on it, a 1st and 10 from their own 8-yard line. A huge run there from Ches Malusi, who was able to work it out for about 38 yards as he's brought out of bounds by Devon Diablo. This looks to be the third or fourth string running back coming in for Clemson, but it makes an immediate impact for the Orange. So Trevor Lawrence still in this game, though, and so now they are at the 47-yard line of their own territory. He fakes the handoff to Malusi. He fires it down the left sideline. Looks to be a jump ball as great defense was applied there from Virginia Tech's own. It looks like it was Armani Chapman who was able to break up the pass. It was intended to Cornell Powell down that left side again. Earlier in this game, there was a 65-yard connection between Lawrence and Powell to the left side, but this time, Chapman makes a great stop.
Yeah, and I think both sides had a case on pass interference, but when both sides have a case, more likely than not, it's going to be no call.
As Lawrence will take the snap and shotgun, he'll hand off to Malusi again as he was able to power himself past the line of scrimmage in that Virginia Tech defense for about a 7-yard pickup on the play. Third and short coming up now for Clemson as we're approaching 7 minutes remaining here in this fourth quarter. Clemson still on top of Virginia Tech 38-10. 3rd and 3 now for Clemson. They look to extend this drive, and at this point in the game, the Tigers are just looking to really burn out this clock, make sure they walk away with the victory, but they want to do it by a significant margin to impress that selection committee at the College Football Playoff who decides their fate of postseason football. And by the way, Clemson 6 minutes and 40 seconds away from the ACC championship. Malusi gets a snap again, but a beautiful read by Justice Reed, who was able to wrap him up from behind the line of scrimmage for a 1-yard loss. So that'll bring up 4th and 4 as with 6:26 remaining. The question is, what will Clemson do here? Will they punt it away and just try to pin them in field position, or will they try to go for it here and keep their offense out on the field?
Yeah, on that last play, a great stop by Justice Reed, the graduate student previously playing with the Florida Gators and the Youngstown State Penguins in the FCS. It's his 7th year playing college football, and with this year not counting towards eligibility, Justice Reed could be an 8-year college football player if he decides to return to Virginia Tech next year.
He's done incredible moments so far for Virginia Tech this year, as Clemson will be calling a timeout here with 5:50 remaining in this fourth quarter as they try to discuss it, or just try to take as much clock as possible out of the game for Virginia Tech to come back in this one.
Yeah, and on a 4th and 4, you take a look at what Clemson has been able to do, especially in the second half. It was 17-10, if I'm correct, heading into the locker room, and a great second half by the Clemson Tigers, and especially this fourth quarter. I think I've seen glimpses of what I expected coming into this game, the athleticism that the Clemson Tigers like to use. And I don't know whether or not that's Clemson waking up or getting used to the cold temperatures, or the Hokies falling apart and getting tired, getting into the championship rounds of a fight, if you will.
Yeah, that's a good point that you bring up. I also like to think of it that Virginia Tech comes out in this game and they have a chance to knock off the number 3 team. Many football players live for big moments like this. They come out, they play well, they're doing the best that they can, but the Clemson Tigers are just outmatching them in every position, and that's what it's been in the second half. It's just been Clemson doing one thing better than Virginia Tech. So here's a punt now from the Clemson Tigers as it's booted away there by Will Spires. This one will go into the Virginia Tech 15-yard line as it is catch is made by the Hokies, and that's where the Hokies will start the next drive. It will come at the Virginia Tech 14-yard line. We're going to take a little break here on 3304 Sports. The Clemson Tigers lead the Virginia Tech Hokies 38-10 in Lane Stadium. Welcome back here to Lane Stadium with 5:42 to go. Virginia Tech down 38-10, starting at their own 17-yard line. As Knox Keenum will get the snap and give it to Jalen Holston, who is wrapped up by Keith McGuire for a loss of 5 yards on the play. So Clemson up by 28, but they're not backing down from that rushing defense as they trip up Holston as he drops back to about his own 10-yard line. 2nd and 15 now coming up for Virginia Tech. We're just over 5 minutes left to play here in Lane Stadium. Clemson looks on their way to another ACC championship game. 2nd and 15, Knox Keenum will throw the screen pass to Blackshear, makes a good cut to the left as he gets back to the original line of scrimmage and maybe even a little bit more as 3rd and long are coming up for the Hokies. With 4:53 left to play, Clemson just needs one win, and if they are able to do their job in the last 5 minutes of this one, they will have a rematch against Notre Dame in Charlotte, North Carolina on December 19th at 4 p.m. It's going to be a great game between the Tigers and the Fighting Irish, of course, at their first matchup this season. Knox Kadum with 4 wide receivers now, with 3 to the left and 1 to the right, as he's in shotgun next to Jalen Holston. He's at the 15. They have to get to their own 24 to continue the drive. Kadum looking to fire. Fires that left side. He's got an open Blackshear, but the throw was just a little bit too strong as it went out of bounds. And Kadum able to show his arm right there with Blackshear, just misses his target. And now 4th and 17 coming up for Virginia Tech.
And look how fired up Brent Venables is on the sideline, the defensive coordinator for the Clemson Tigers. Those championship britches mean something to this team. They are fired up, they're ready to go, and they're always active. Brent Venables fired up after a big 3 and out just because that's who he is, and he never stops coaching.
Well, there is a punt from Oscar Bradburn as it's retrieved at the 50-yard line, midfield. So that's where Clemson will start this drive with 4:09 to play. Clemson, great coaching, has led them to so many great places, and we just see it again here. I mean, we're writing this one off a little bit early here, but Clemson going to another ACC championship. There's not a more dominant team with college football within its conference than the Clemson Tigers.
Yeah, and you take a look at Brent Venables, coached in 6 national championships, led Clemson to a Clemson record 54 sacks in 2018, the 3rd most by an FBS team since the turn of the millennia.
So Clemson will now get the snap as they hand off to Rencher, the 3rd-string running back, and he's breaking free, and he's got open field ahead of him, and he runs it in. So Rencher makes his first carry of the game for the Clemson Tigers, and he just boasters down that field right up the middle for 50 yards. It's now 44-10. If Clemson didn't already have this game in the bag, they certainly do now, as this one looks all but over here in Lane Stadium. An impressive run there from the 3rd-string running back.
Yeah, and this game is a little less of a, well, at around the same level of a blowout as Virginia Tech against Pittsburgh 2 weeks ago, 47-14. Not as much of a blowout as the 52-17 beatdown that Clemson gave to Pittsburgh last week. So I think both teams have something to be positive about. Of course, Clemson a little bit more. They will be playing another game in Charlotte against the Notre Dame Fighting Irish.
So let's take a look at this here. Darian Rencher, who will probably have the best average yards per carry on the night and all the whole country with 50 yards. He wins the 2020 Disney Spirit Award, which is an excellent honor. He received that on Monday during Clemson's practice. And what does he do with his first carry with the Tigers after hearing that award? He goes 50 yards, and he runs it all the way to the house. A big moment there for Rencher, who in this game, it's now 45-10. I mean, Clemson is just laying it all out on Virginia Tech now. We really thought that this game was going to be closer by the way the first half was going, but this second half really demonstrated about what the Tigers can do to so many teams in college football.
Yeah, Darian Rencher, that Disney Spirit Award is for the most inspirational player in college football this season. And just seeing by all the hugs and high fives he's giving on the sideline, that's his first touchdown of the season for the Clemson Tigers immediately after getting that. And just seeing how happy and how jolly this player is just by getting this opportunity as a redshirt senior to score a touchdown this late into the season. A huge moment for Darian Rencher.
4:01 remaining as Potter will kick this one off again tonight. This one will go into the end zone where Khalil Herbert will elect to kneel. Touchback there in this one, as now with just 4 minutes ago in this game, Virginia Tech is really looking to make something out of this deficit. You have a 45-10 lead in favor of the Clemson Tigers, and now Virginia Tech just trying their best to really make this one look like there's a positive at the end of this game with how this drive goes for Virginia Tech.
Yeah, and down 35 with 4 minutes left. This is the time where you take some risk, you learn about your team. You have a chance with Knox Kadum without consequence almost to do whatever you want. And so I think it's a waste to not do something with him.
Holston will take this carry that was delivered by Kadum. He'll run up 2 yards up the middle, where he will now go to the Virginia Tech 27-yard line. Look at the time management. Virginia Tech with still 3 timeouts. Clemson with only 1 timeout. Can't imagine many of them are elected to be used throughout the course of this one. But now with just 3 minutes and 30 seconds remaining, it's 2nd and 8 now for Virginia Tech. Play clock goes to 15 seconds as Knox Kadum is in shotgun with 3 wide receivers to his right. He'll take the snap and roll out to the left. He gets a block from his running back, but he is met up around the 30-yard line from the Clemson defense, and that's where he'll halt for now 3rd and 5.
Yeah, and it's really a scary moment as a Virginia Tech fan to see Knox Kadum get hit with any level of power from that Clemson offense. Because right now, the quarterback that's backing up Knox Kadum is nothing but a question mark.
Yeah, I saw some names. James Mitchell, the tight end. It might be considered an emergency backup as well as a tight end. He's not in the game right now, though, as the reserves are starting to come in for Virginia Tech in this one. As Knox Kadum is in shotgun, he has 3 wide receivers, 2 to the right, 1 to the left, as Kadum will take the snap on this 3rd and 5. He'll fire to the left side, and a catch made there by Fairs. Evan Fairs making his first catch of the game for the Virginia Tech Hokies. It's an 8-yard reception, and it moves the chains. So for Virginia Tech, pretty good for them, not giving up on this one with 2:32 to go, but Dabo Swinney has taken off the headset. He's bundled up his coat as chilly night here in Blacksburg for these teams. I mean, you look at the wind chill, around 27 at kickoff. I mean, we're here in Blacksburg, and we know what it's like to be here in the Valley when it's getting into winter. A very cold football game, but the Clemson Tigers came out red hot. It's now a handoff for Virginia Tech as it will go to Marco Lee. He'll rush that ball up 7 yards to the Virginia Tech 45-yard line where he's tackled by Trenton Simpson. And Marco Lee getting his first carry his first carry of the night for the Hokies.
What will be interesting to me is if Clemson does get another chance with the football, to see backup quarterbacks other than Trevor Lawrence, see what this Clemson offense is going to look like without Trevor Lawrence if he does declare for the NFL draft.
It's a running clock right now pretty much as that handoff is made. Knox Kadum will get the snap and give it back to Lee, and Lee will put his head down and get to about midfield where he'll have another Virginia Tech first down. Clock, of course, will stop for a moment as they put the ball down and move the chains as it will get going once again. And Tyler, this was really just Clemson just saying, you know, Virginia Tech, it was competitive in that first half, but we're still Clemson, and now it's 45-10. It's just that kind of night where the Tigers, so many things going in the right way for the Tigers, and it seems like the Hokies had some missed opportunities to gain momentum. But now, under a minute to go, Clemson looks to be surely on their way for another ACC win. Kadum in shotgun, and he'll take the snap, and he'll hand off to Marco Lee to the right side on 1st and 10, and he will get a good pickup of about 5 yards on the play. And this is something you just hate to see here in this game. As an offensive tackle of Virginia Tech, Zanzi, who is down on the ground and he's in some kind of pain, with 42 seconds to go, this is just the worst thing that really happened to anybody.
Virginia Tech has been plagued with injuries today. Christian Darrisaw on the offensive line. Braxton Burmeister and Hendon Hooker, 2 quarterbacks going down. And now you have an offensive tackle, another offensive tackle, and Silas Zanzi going down as well. It's really unfortunate when you have this Virginia Tech team who's already been struggling this season in terms of record. They're going to drop to 4-6 after this game with 1 game remaining. And just to have injuries, especially in garbage time where the reserves are coming in, you said it exactly right. You hate to see this happen to a team that's already been demoralized, losing by 35.
Well, Zanzi was able to get up and walk off the field. 10-second runoff because of the injured player under 2 minutes ago. The Virginia Tech Hokies will look to run one more play. 2 wide receivers for the Hokies on both sides as it's an offside call, and a penalty will be called up against the Clemson Tigers. 16 seconds to go as they jumped into the zone. There's a neutral zone infraction. It will give them a first down as the Gatorade bath is in full effect here in Blacksburg, Virginia, as Dabo Swinney is given orange Gatorade in a way that's usually not drink, but over his head, as now he is on his way to another ACC championship game. And looking at the Tigers, the question will be, will they reschedule their matchup next week against the Florida State Seminoles? Will there be any point in that whatsoever? Maybe a little tune-up before Notre Dame in the ACC championship. But for right now, it looks like the Clemson, right now, their regular season will come to an end at 9-1. Virginia Tech, you mentioned it, dropping down to 4-6. It will be a losing record season for the Virginia Tech Hokies and Blacksburg. And that will be a crazy ending as Virginia Tech looked to maybe run another play, but the clock continued to run after the penalty was called, and that will do it here from Blacksburg. The Clemson Tigers defeat the Virginia Tech Hokies 45-10 in a game that started off in the back-and-forth battle. Clemson pulled away in the second half, outscoring the Hokies 28 points. Well, Tyler, we kind of saw this game kind of unfolding like this, unfortunately, for Virginia Tech. Clemson Tigers coming in this one as heavy favorites as we've moving on now to the 3304 Sports post-game show. Tyler, just a simple recap of really what you saw from Clemson and how they're preparing now for what looks like to be, well, it is determined now, but another ACC championship game under Coach Dabo Swinney.
If Clemson comes out and plays like they did in the first half, assuming Clemson did not slow down because it looked like an entirely separate team in the second half than in the first half, then I think the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, an independent team joining the ACC for one season, will get an ACC championship game. However, I think if Clemson comes out and plays like they did in the second half, they've already seen Notre Dame. They've seen what they can do. They've seen Ian Book. They've seen Coach Kelly. All of that in South Bend, Indiana, in an unfamiliar territory. Now you don't come to Clemson's turf, but close enough to Charlotte, North Carolina for the ACC championship game. I think this one's going to go Clemson's way in a matchup, in a rematch against the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. But they're gathered together now, saluting their team, and I guess their imaginary fans that traveled with them in the crowd. As the Clemson Tigers, another great season. They improved to 9-1, 8-1 in the ACC. That lone loss to the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, who they're going to have a rematch against on December 19th for the ACC championship. But this Clemson Tigers team showing why they are so good.
They are so good, and Trevor Lawrence putting a name into the record books, and Clemson, 33 wins. It's the most by a Clemson starting quarterback in school history from the years of 2018 to 2020. Could he possibly extend it if he comes back next year? That's a question that's on everyone's mind about Trevor Lawrence's future. My little analysis about Clemson Tigers this is a well-put-together team. When they struggled in the first half, they went to the locker room and they discussed how they were going to attack that second half, and they did a wonderful job of doing so. And they had 28, if you actually go all the way back to where it happened, 35 unanswered points against the Virginia Tech Hokies. They were able to force the turnovers. They were able to make the decisions that helped them win this football game. And for Virginia Tech, it's a downward spiral for them right now. 4 straight losses. They go against the University of Virginia, which is going to be a tough task mentally just because it's of their in-state rivals. But outside of that, Tyler, I don't know what's going on for Virginia Tech. Will they be able to go to a bowl game this year? That's another question now with the losing record. The chances have slightly pretty much gone to diminished. And that's something that's going to have to be addressed about. If they don't get to a bowl game, what's the future like for Virginia Tech?
Well, the future next week specifically, we don't know the condition of Hendon Hooker. We don't know the condition of Braxton Burmeister. So we are looking at a potential starting quarterback duo of Virginia Tech versus the University of Virginia to be Brennan Armstrong versus Knox Kadum. 2 quarterbacks that didn't really have too much experience coming into this season. In the case of Knox Kadum, no experience coming into this season. Armstrong has been the starting quarterback for Virginia. Knox Kadum does not have a start, does not have a second half start, but instead came in the second half in place of Burmeister, who went down with a nasty fumble, and Hendon Hooker, who went down after a nasty fumble. So turnovers plagued Virginia Tech in more than one way. Yes, turning over the ball, letting up points to the Clemson Tigers, that hurts the team, and they lost by 35 was a direct result of that. However, if you lose two quarterbacks, your two star quarterbacks, the only two quarterbacks on your roster right now that had playing time, that is a big red flag for Virginia Tech to try to take back the Commonwealth Cup next week.
Well, it certainly will be a big matchup for Virginia and for Virginia Tech. Both teams who haven't really done that much to really surprise anyone, but definitely for the rivalry, it will be a good one for sure. Well, it's going to be all Clemson here, and Blacksburg, Virginia, as the Tigers win this one 45-10 over the Virginia Tech Hokies. They improve to 9-1, and most importantly, they clinch a spot in December 19th ACC championship game against the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. For Virginia Tech, their postseason looks to be in a blur right now, but a win next week will help their chances for sure. A loss might end the longest active bowl streak in the country. Well, this has been a great production here at 3304 Sports, an ACC Saturday night football between the Clemson Tigers and the Virginia Tech Hokies. It's the Clemson Tigers who have outdueled Virginia Tech tonight 45-10 from Lane Stadium. And for the final time, I am Andy Loce, joined alongside with Tyler Katz. Have a great night, everybody, and we'll hear from you soon.